address, 33rd and Ellerslie, Memorial Stadium, Baltimore, Maryland. Sellout crowd, 50,000 fans on a 70-degree night for Game 1 of the American League Championship Series that matches the pitching-rich Baltimore Orioles against the top-scoring team in the majors, the California Angels. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg here. Welcome to Game 1 of the American League Championship Series that does indeed match the East against the West. And as it should be in a classic confrontation, good pitching against good hitting. The Orioles got here by way of the arm. 3.28 team ERA. That was a half a run better than the second-best pitching staff in the American League. Meanwhile, the Angels scored more runs than any ball club in the major leagues. Pleased to have with us, and you've enjoyed throughout the course of this baseball year on Saturdays and a couple of World Series, 6 gold gloves back in the trophy case. Wes Parker, and Wes, when they talk of the gold team in this series, everyone likes the Baltimore Orioles.
Baltimore looks awful tough, Dick, and they just don't make mistakes. They're so good fundamentally. It's going to be a real tough job for the Angels. They've got Nolan Ryan going tonight. He has to turn in at least one great performance, probably two, if the Angels are going to win this series. They also have Don Baylor, Bobby Grich. They're two leaders throughout the series. They played for Baltimore. They know this park. They know what it's like to be under this kind of pressure. These two guys can help them to win. I think Bobby Grich is really ready to have an outstanding series.
Orioles, the home team in the business from California. Rick Miller stepping in now against the tall, veteran right-hander Jim Palmer, going to work, and here's the first pitch. He takes the ball outside, the fastball high and away.
And both these pitchers, Ernie, you got to get them early if you're going to get them. Jim Palmer and Nolan Ryan.
That's the way to play it. Rick Miller batting .293, 2 home runs over the season, 28 runs batted in, left-hand hitter waiting, and Palmer delivers. Here's a foul back on the screen. 1-1, the count on the leadoff man. Quite a matchup here with Nolan Ryan, the record holder in most strikeouts for one season, and also Mr. Jim Palmer, who's the best pitcher in the Baltimore baseball history. The reluctant right-hander, Jim Palmer, they call him here for this series. And the pitch on the way, swinging a foul, lifted out of play, upstairs, third base side, and then dropping down below. 1-2, the count on Miller.
You know what makes Palmer so tough? He has that easy motion. He just slides that fastball by you. You'll see a lot of foul balls off the other side.
Sneaks up there before he knows it, and he knows how to pitch about as well as anybody. Now they've got the sensei backing up a little bit at third base. The outfield is slightly toward left on Rick Miller. He steps out for a moment. Larry Barnett at the plate calls time. We're just underway in Baltimore, the opening game of the American League playoffs. 1-2 on the leadoff man. The pitch is a slow curve over but low. 2-2. The breeze is coming across from left field toward right. And it's a fairly pleasant night. Here's the pitch. Swinging another foul, lifted out of play, upstairs. And already a new supply of baseballs brought out to Larry Barnett. Talking to Earl Weaver, Bill, before the game, I said, "Are you going to wear your false teeth tonight?" He just had a new set. He said, "No, the doctor says I grind them during the game." Here's the windup now on the pitch. Swinging a bounding ball, right side, gloved by Murray. Palmer covers, takes the throw in time. Got him.
And a fine play by Eddie Murray. A lot of people look at Eddie Murray and they look at his stats and say, this is a fine offensive ball player. But if they watch him play defense, they'll also realize he's a fine defensive ball player. And when he first got here, Ernie, they used him as a DH. They used Lee May at first base. But he has shown over the last few years why he should win Gold Gloves.
Against the more stationary first baseman, that could have been a hit to right field. Here's Carney Lansford, who's the fastest man on this team. Right-hand batting third baseman, hitting .289 for the year. 19 home runs and 79 RBIs. Native of San Jose, California, and he takes the strike above the knee. Second year for Lansford. He's been a good addition to this California ball club. 1 out, nobody on, no score, just underway. Here's a fastball that jammed him, and they count 1-1. One thing about Palmer, Bill, he'll move that ball around a lot.
Yeah, he backed him off the plate. He might want to get that fastball now over the outside corner or come back with a breaking ball.
Lansford waiting. Here it comes. He swings and fouls it on the screen. 1-2. Once again, we've got the outfield playing to the opposite side. They were playing Miller to left. They're playing Lansford to hit the right. DeCinces at third base. Belanger at shortstop. Doward second. Murray at first. That's the inner defense. Dempsey's the catcher. Now the 1-2 serve. He takes a high, slow one. 2-2. Kelly is in left field for Baltimore tonight. Bumbry in center and Singleton in right. Frank Robinson worked on these outfielders a lot during the season. That was one of the Baltimore weaknesses last year. And they've come around a lot. Of course, the addition of Bumbry's helped and the recovery of Singleton. Here's the pitch. 2-2. He swings and misses. Second out.
That was just that good old high, hard one. I think both these pitchers, though, will have to get the breaking ball over. That sets up that good, hard fastball by Palmer and by Nolan Ryan. I think the key is getting the breaking ball over. You get it over, get him sort of looking at that, then you can throw the fastball by a lot of these hitters.
Here's Dan Ford now. He had a good year, hit .288. 21 home runs, 101 RBIs. Ford, a native of Los Angeles. First signed by the Oakland club, then traded to the Twins, and came to California from Minnesota. He hits out of a decided close stance. He almost turns his back around to the pitcher. 2 out, nobody on. The game just started. No score first inning in Baltimore. California batting. And Ford takes a high, hard one for a ball. Ball one.
And from that stance, Ernie, he tries and waits a long time, and most of his hits go the other way, although he did hit quite a few home runs.
Here's the windup and the pitch. It is swung on and missed. 1-1. Once again, we've got that Baltimore outfield alignment toward the opposite side. They're playing Ford to hit the right. Don Baylor waiting on deck. He's the cleanup man in Jim Fricosi's batting order. There's a very enthusiastic crowd here. They've got a full house at Memorial Stadium. Now the 1-1 delivery. Swing and a miss on an inside fastball. Might have tipped that one.
You know, I'd hate to see Palmer if his arm felt good the way he's throwing so far. He's got a good live fastball.
Ford struck out 12 times against Baltimore pitching, more than any other California batter during the regular season. 2 out, nobody on, no score first inning. Palmer backs off. Ford steps away from the plate again. Tall and rangy. He's 6'1", weighs about 185, 190. Now Palmer checking his time with his catcher, Dempsey. The 1-2 pitch. He jammed him with a fastball right at the shoulder. 2-2. One of the big news items around Baltimore the last month or so has been the feud between Weaver and Palmer. And I think part of it is show business. They get a big kick out of it. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a fly ball. It's the left center field. It's deep. Montgomery going back, and it is gone. A home run. And California leads it 1-0. That one disappeared over the 386-foot marker. Deep left center field. He rode that strike 2 pitch out. And California gets on the board first of all, 1-0 in the opening inning.
And that looked like a pretty good pitch, although it was up. Once again, Palmer trying to sneak that fastball by Dan Ford. Obviously, not the velocity that he had on the other one, but the ball looked like it might have been out over the plate, so you figure you get a long fly ball to center field. But Ford really got into it.
He had 21 home runs during the season and not a one against Baltimore, but there's one that puts the Californians in the lead. Here's Don Baylor up now.
The pitch to Baylor is high and inside. 296 average, 36 home runs, 139 RBIs. The California Angels leading candidate for MVP. 1 ball, the count from Palmer to Baylor. There's a high fly ball out to center field. Bombrey's got the eye on it, puts the glove up, and Baylor flies out to center field, and the California Angels are retired, but not before picking up 1 run on 1 hit. And at the end of half inning of play, California 1, Baltimore nothing.
If you believe in stats, and this was something we glossed over prior to game time, if you believe in stats, if you feel that the statistics of the past hold up in the present, well, then this will not be a Nolan Ryan night. If you believe, however, that great American League or Major League pitchers like Nolan Ryan rise to an occasion and forget about stats, then this will be a Nolan Ryan night. However, this year in American League play, Nolan Ryan has been a very successful pitcher at home. He has been a very unsuccessful pitcher on the road. 12 of Nolan Ryan's 16 victories have come at the Big A in Southern California. 10 of his 14 defeats have come on the road. He is a 12-winning, 4-losing pitcher at home. He has won 4 and lost 10 away from home. In addition, although Nolan Ryan includes the Orioles among his no-hit victims, Nolan Ryan has not had good stats, has not had a good Major League pitching record against the Orioles. But the guy out of Texas, hard-throwing Nolan Ryan starts this ball game tonight with a 1-0 lead.
And Al Bumbry is going to be the first batter to face Nolan Ryan. Lansford is at third for the California Angels. Jim Anderson at short. Bobby Grich is at second base. Rod Carew is at first. In the outfield, former Oriole Larry Harlow in left. Rick Miller is in center. And in right field, the home run man of tonight so far, Dan Ford. Here's Al Bumbry against Nolan Ryan. And the first pitch is outside. Bumbry's lifetime average against Nolan Ryan, 116. On the year, Al had 285 with 7 home runs and 49 RBIs. 1 ball the count. Ryan comes home with the next pitch. Swing and a miss by Bumbry. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Mark Belanger is the on-deck batter, and he'll be followed by Ken Singleton. 1-1 the count, and Ryan works again to Bumbry. The next pitch, it's low. 2 balls and 1 strike the count. Al led the Orioles in stolen bases this year with 37. Brian Downing is behind the plate for the California Angels tonight. The Angels lead it 1-0. Here's the 2-1 delivery to Bumbry. That fastball swung on it, missed again. And I'm telling you, Nolan Ryan can bring it. Two and 2 the count to Al Bumbry. Ryan works again. The 2-2 delivery just missed the strike zone. 3 balls and 2 strikes the count. He hasn't beaten the Orioles since April of 1976 when he beat them 6-0 in California. His last victory at Memorial Stadium was in 1975. His earned run average against the Orioles this year in just 6 innings and 2 appearances, 7.50. 3-2, full count to Bumbry. Ryan's next delivery, fastball swung on it and missed, and Bumbry's a strikeout victim. Here comes Mark Belanger. Now, Mark on the year does not have a very impressive batting average, 167. You may ask yourself why Weaver has him in the lineup tonight. Well, Ryan and Belanger have gone at it a number of times over the years, and Belanger has a pretty respectful average against the likes of Nolan Ryan. He's a .295 hitter. First pitch from Ryan, the fastball just breaks over the outside portion of the plate for a strike 1. And if Ryan's got that fastball working, he's going to be tough. And if he's got a lead going into the 8th inning, if he's still around, he'll be even tougher. 1 out, nobody on, 1 strike the count to Belanger. Here's the next pitch. That's way outside. Ryan led the American League in strikeouts this year with 223. The 7th time he's led the league in strikeouts. 5 shutouts. He's tied with Mike Flanagan and Dennis Leonard of Kansas City in that department. The 1-1 pitch to Belanger, high fly ball, fading foul down the right field line and into the seats. Ryan on what he has to do tonight. Ryan on the Orioles. The 1-2 pitch to Belanger, and it's a call, strike 3, and Belanger knew it. So Ryan has struck out the first 2 men he's faced. Now the Orioles candidate for most valuable player, Ken Singleton. Ken Singleton, a .295 average, 35 home runs, 111 RBIs. Played in all of the Oriole games this year. He walked 109 times against California. A .283 hitter with 4 home runs and 8 RBIs. 2 outs. California leads it 1-0. We're in the bottom of the first inning in case you're just joining us. Ryan to Ken Singleton, batting left-handed. Call, strike at the knees. Again on the outer portion of the plate. As a left-hander, Ken Singleton is a .313 hitter. Right-handed, .248. That pitch is inside to Ken Singleton. Ken had 13 hits and 46 trips to the plate against California this year. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and that one's fouled back into the seats behind home plate. Now Nolan Ryan is going to get a new baseball. A Dan Ford home run to left center field has put the California Angels on top by a score of 1-0. 1-2 the count to Singleton. The next delivery, swing and a miss, and Ryan has struck out the side. 3 up and 3 down, and at the end of a full inning of play, the score is California 1, Baltimore 0.
Well, here's a reminder about our broadcast time all along the Big Oriole Radio Network for Game 2 tomorrow afternoon. Broadcast time for the game broadcast will be at 3:10 tomorrow afternoon. A couple of hours after Game 2 is finished, the Angels on their charter and the Orioles on their chartered flight will fly coast to coast to get ready for the 3rd game of the championship series, which will be Friday night in Anaheim, California. And if games 4 and 5 are necessary, of course, they'll also be played in Anaheim Saturday and Sunday as well. Each and every broadcast will be on the air from the West Coast, as well as the one tomorrow afternoon. 3:10 is the broadcast time tomorrow. Now for the Angels, in the top of the 2nd inning, it'll be Rod Carew, Brian Downing, and Bobby Grich. Palmer started the game in strong style, got Miller on a ground ball to first, struck out Carney Lansford, but then gave a fat 2-2 pitch to Dan Ford, who homered over the fence in left center field. Baylor flied to center, and that was the Angels in the 1st inning. Now here's Carew to start the Angel 2nd inning.
Well, Rod Carew finished the year with a .318 average, 3 home runs, and 44 RBIs. Palmer's first delivery to Carew, it's a call, strike at the knees. Against Oriole pitching, he was a .190 hitter. 1 strike the count, Palmer's changeup, and it's over the plate at the letters. 2 strikes, 2 quick strikes to Rod Carew. Rod Carew in postseason play and 2 playoff appearances, 2 playoff years. Swing and a miss, and Dempsey dropped the ball. He got a piece of that one, so Carew stays alive. He is 0 for 16 in postseason play against the Orioles in the American League playoffs in 1969 and again in 1970. In the hole right now, 2 strikes the count to Jim Palmer, who gets the sign from Dempsey. Comes down the hill with a pitch to Carew, and he fouled it on the screen behind home plate, so the count remains at 2 strikes. Carew, the left-hander against the right-hander Palmer. Ground ball out to Dower at second. He's up with a throw to first in time, and Carew is retired. First out in the top of the second inning. Here comes Brian Downing, who just had a great year for the California Angels. .326 hitter, 12 home runs, 75 RBIs. Against Oriole pitching, Brian Downing is a .200 hitter. Palmer's ready to work to the right-hander with a big open stance, and the first pitch is a called strike. One strike delivery on the way. Curveball inside and gets away from Dempsey, and we'll see a new baseball in the game. And when we get a chance, well, let's do it right now. We'll pause for station identification. This is the Baltimore Orioles Baseball Network. One and one the count. 1-1 delivery is outside, 2-1 the count. One ball and 2 strikes. That's the count with 1 out. There's nobody on. Downing third in the American League in hitting with that .326 average. Palmer's delivery. There's a ground ball on 1 hop out to DeCinces. The throw to first in time, and Downing is retired. The wind could be a factor in tonight's game. It's been a shifting wind, primarily blowing out to right field. Now, former Oriole Bobby Grich. Grich, another one of the Angels with a great year, .294 average, 30 home runs, 101 RBIs, career highs for Grich. A .235 hitter for the Angels against Oriole pitching with 1 home run. Palmer's fastball is a called strike right down the heart of the plate. And does Palmer respect Bobby Grich, not just his batting abilities, but as a baseball player? The next pitch, a changeup from Palmer, right over at the letters, a beautiful pitch, 2 strikes the count. He describes Bobby Grich as a Frank Robinson-like ball player. Hard-nosed, 100% all the time. 2 strikes the count to Bobby. Palmer's next delivery, a bit outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. And Grich had just a terrible year last year, but boy, did he make a comeback. 1-2 with 2 outs. Palmer's sidearm delivery, a little looper right out to Dower behind the bag at second. And Bobby Grich and the Angels are retired. At the end of an inning and a half, the score remains California 1 and Baltimore 0.
Testing. Welcome back, everyone, to the 8th inning of tonight's 3rd championship series game between Baltimore Orioles and the California Angels. It's been a great game. There you can see some beautiful lights here at Baltimore County Stadium. The lights don't really look like that. Just looks that way on your television screen.
Well, Nolan Ryan getting prepared right now with his catcher Downing for the bottom of the second inning. No way you could have a better start than Ryan had in the opening inning. Struck out Bunbury swinging, struck out Belanger looking, struck out Singleton swinging, and so he had 3 strikeouts to begin the ball game. In fact, this year, in 222 innings of pitching in the American League, Nolan Ryan, the league leader in strikeouts, fanned 223. He has 3 already tonight, and in the bottom of the second inning, he'll go after Eddie Murray, Pat Kelly, and Lee May. All right, Tom.
And in talking with Nolan Ryan yesterday, one of the Oriole players that he's had his problems with has been Eddie Murray. And Eddie's had a great year against the Angels, a .409 hitter with 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. On the year, Eddie, a .295 hitter, 25 home runs, 99 RBIs. Led this club in hits with 179. Batting left-handed against the flame-throwing Nolan Ryan. First pitch to Murray. That fastball is high and a bit outside. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Eddie will be followed by Pat Kelly. Pat has a home run off Nolan Ryan in his career. Now Eddie Murray steps out. And Lee May. Here's the 1-ball pitch to Eddie Murray. And that fastball sailed outside. 2 balls and no strikes to count. If you're going to get to Nolan Ryan, you better get to him early. There's not a pitcher in baseball. There's not a pitcher in baseball history that's had a better record going into the 9th inning, 8th and 9th innings. He's only lost 2 games in his career. Next pitch, fastball is high. Nolan Ryan on preparing for the Orioles.
Well, I haven't prepared any different for them than I do anybody else. I'll go out and pitch my type of ball game and hope that it's enough for us to win. They have some good hitters, and there's some guys that have done well off me in the past, and I think guys have to go out and make good pitches. I don't think that they have a type of ball club that you can make mistakes and expect to win with.
Nolan Ryan on the Orioles, and the next pitch to Murray is in there for a called strike. Not the kind of team you can go out against, make mistakes, and win. 3-1 the count to Eddie. Ryan's pitch, and he fouls that one back into the press area. So the count to Eddie Murray is full. It was on July 25th that Nolan Ryan was pitching against the Yankees, and all of a sudden his elbow popped. And the Angels organization feared at the time that it may be a serious injury. Some fibers were torn in the area of the elbow, but they have healed. And a little later, if we get a chance, we'll let you hear Nolan Ryan talking about coming back from that injury. Right now, with nobody out, we have a full count to Eddie Murray. And we'll see if Nolan Ryan's going to come after Eddie Murray with that heater. The 3-2 pitch he did, and Murray fouls it back. And the count remains full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Game 2 of the championship series will be played here tomorrow afternoon. And the Orioles and the Angels will leave for the West Coast for games 3, 4, and 5 in the Big A in California. 3-2 delivery, and Eddie fouled that one up into the upper deck here at Memorial Stadium behind home plate. So Eddie Murray is hanging tough against Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan is 4th in strikeouts in the American League record book, 2,909 in his career. The 3-2 pitch, payoff pitch on the way to Murray again, swing and a miss. And Nolan Ryan has now struck out 4. As Eddie Murray did just what Frank Robinson said he shouldn't do in our pregame show with Frank. In the Frank Robinson show, he went after a bad pitch. When he struck out the side in the first inning, Nolan Ryan achieved that for the 152nd time in his career. And he struck out the first batter here in the bottom of the second, Eddie Murray. He now faces Pat Kelly. Ryan's pitch to Kelly. It's fouled upstairs. Kelly is a .300 lifetime hitter against Nolan Ryan. Pat had a great year, .288 in his limited playing time, 9 home runs, 25 RBIs. Ryan's 1-strike delivery to Kelly, and he took a little off that one, and it was high. 1 ball and 1 strike the count.
Tom, whenever there has been a knock or criticism of Nolan Ryan's work, the knock has been that Ryan is more concerned with strikeouts than with victories.
The pitch to Kelly, it's a called strike. Kelly only hit 111 off the Angels this year. Nolan Ryan has Pat Kelly in the hole. He's struck out the first 4 Orioles he's faced. Lee May is on deck. The right-hander on the hill will work to the left-hander Kelly. He's into his stretch, kicks and fires the 1-2 delivery, ground ball out to Bobby Grich. He's up with it. Throw to first in time to Rod Carew, and Kelly is out. And Mr. Ryan has retired 5 in a row. Well, you just heard Rex Barty announce Lee May into the game. And Lee May had a good year against these California Angels. A .321 hitter against the Angels, 8 RBIs, and 2 of his 19 home runs came off of California pitching. 2 out, nobody on. The first pitch to May, swing and a miss. 1 strike the count. Lee's average dropped off to .254 by the end of the year. To go along with that 19 home runs, he had 69 RBIs. 1 strike pitch to May. Swing and a miss as Lee was going for the fences again. And I'm telling you, Ryan has got that heater going tonight. The right-hander from Alvin, Texas, a good old boy, walks off the mound and now walks back up. Looks in to get his sign from Downing. He agrees with it, and the 2-strike pitch is on the way. The Ryan Express was just a little outside that time. This ballpark right now is kind of quiet. And if Ryan keeps up this style of pitching, it's going to stay that way. Let him slip a little, though, and this crowd will really get into it. 2 outs, 1 and 2, the count to Lee May. Ryan's ready to work again. Here's the pitch, and that's outside. So the count to the big man from Birmingham, who now makes his home in Cincinnati, is 2 and 2. Two outs, 2 and 2, the count to Lee May. Ryan's ready to work again. Kicks and fires to Lee, and he fouls that one back right off the scoreboard area where the electronic works goes, the computer behind home plate.
What represents an American League Championship Series record.
Among those in attendance tonight, that great cowboy star and great singer, Gene Autry, the owner of this club, been in this business 19 years, and finally his team is headed to the World Series. The Orioles can be the only stumbling block. 2 out, the 2-2 pitch, and it gets away from Brian Downing, and the count goes full to Lee May. So you got kind of a classic matchup right now. Lee May at the plate, a good power hitter, against the great fastball of Nolan Ryan, if that's what he uses to Lee May in this situation. Well, May has looked up to Cal Ripken to get his sign, and in just a moment, Ryan's going to look down that hill to Brian Downing to get his. That's what he's doing right now. And he's ready to go to work. Here's the payoff pitch to Lee May. There's a high fly ball out to right field. If it stays fair, Dan Ford is going over, and it's a foul ball. And I'll tell you, that one wasn't fouled by too much. Dan Ford went charging over into the corner, and Nolan Ryan got a break on that one.
Tom, without a wind blowing tonight, and it is a very strong wind into the right field corner. Without that wind blowing, the ball would have stayed fair. It would not have made the seats. It might have been in the right field corner. It might have been playable by Dan Ford.
Well, there's no doubt about that, Bill, because it was just fouled by about 2 feet or so, and there is a pretty good wind whipping over into the right field area. Well, they'll do it again. 2 outs, 3-2, the count to May, and here comes the pitch from Ryan. Swing and a miss. He's now struck out 5 out of 6, and at the end of 2, the score remains California 1, Baltimore nothing.
We have a lot of visiting firemen in the ballpark tonight, as they so often are referred to during a playoff series or a World Series. A lot of the top writers from all around the country, and many of the leading radio and television broadcasters from around the country. Among those, we'd like to welcome back to Baltimore as part of the 1979 American League Playoff Series is a gentleman connected with the Miami Orioles Baseball Club and also a member of the sports staff of radio station WIOD, one of the many stations on the big Oriole radio network this spring and summer. A welcome to Baltimore to Sonny Hirsch of radio station WIOD in Miami. Well, Jim Palmer and the Orioles, after 2 innings, are trailing 1-0. Only one batter has reached base against either Palmer or Ryan, and that is the Angel right fielder Dan Ford, who hit a solo home run off Palmer with 2 out in the first inning. The Ford home run has the Angels ahead 1-0. Now in the Angel third, Larry Harlow, Jim Anderson, Rick Miller, and Tom Marr.
Thank you, Bill O'Donnell. Larry Harlow, who was with the Orioles until the trading deadline when the Birds decided to keep Benny Ayala and send Larry Harlow out to California for a minor league player. Well, Harlow's fortunes have turned around in California. Palmer works to his former teammate who bats left-handed, swing and a miss. Harlow is a .241 hitter with 15 RBIs for the California Angels. That doesn't tell you the story, though. Since July the 6th, he's been batting .348. 1 strike. The count from Palmer. The next pitch is high to the Hawk, as his teammates call him. Larry Harlow, a very quiet player, very quiet person, doesn't have much to say. Had mixed feelings when he was traded out to California. Palmer's next delivery, the 1-1 swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Scoreboard has it as 2 strikes. Larry Harlow grew up in the Oriole organization, played in the bigs for a couple of years with the Birds, and had to leave a lot of close friends. But one of the reasons he didn't mind was the fact that his wife was from California. Ground ball down to Eddie Murray. He's got it. Steps on the bag at first, and Larry Harlow is retired. Larry Harlow's wife grew up, and her parents and family still live about 10 or 15 minutes from the ballpark in Anaheim. Here comes Jim Anderson. Did well against the Orioles this year, a .318 hitter, 7 for 21. On the year, .248 hitter, 3 home runs, and 23 RBIs. We're in the top of the 3rd inning. California leading it 1-0. The pitch from Palmer, it's right in there for a called strike. The only hit in the game off Palmer came off the bat of Dan Ford in the 1st inning. Next delivered to Anderson. Oh, Palmer took something off that one. Beautiful pitch, called strike 2. Anderson just sat there and looked at it go by. So Anderson is in the hole to Palmer. A 2-strike delivery just outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. A good curveball from Palmer. Barely outside of the strike zone. Dempsey thought it was a strike. 1 out, nobody on, 1-2 the count. Palmer will come home with a pitch again. Here it is, and that's a bit high on an off-speed breaking pitch. 2-2 the count. The on-deck batter, Rick Miller. 2-2 delivery, and that one's fouled upstairs behind the plate, so the count remains 2-2. Now Jim Palmer wants another baseball in the game. Looks like he's got about 6 or 7 baseballs tonight he's been unhappy with. Now, a couple of times this year, umpires have tried to throw him out the same ball again. Here's the 2-2 delivery. There's a ground ball on the high hop to Belanger at short. Throw to first in time. And Anderson's retired. Oh, 3 or 4 times this year, the home plate umpire getting a little exasperated with Jim Palmer. Will try to throw him back out the same baseball he said was, there was something wrong with it. And time again, Palmer just hums it right back and says, don't give me the same one. Here comes Miller. He grounded out to Eddie Murray, and Jim Palmer covering his first time up. First pitch, swing and a miss on the Palmer fastball. 1 strike the count. Next pitch, that's fouled into the mezzanine here at Memorial Stadium behind the plate. So now Rick Miller is down to Jim Palmer. 2 strikes the count. Two-strike delivery on the way from Palmer. That's high and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Palmer gets a sign from Dempsey. And Rick Miller, who's had his best year with the bat, that 293 average, awaits the 1-2 delivery. There's a soft ground ball to Sensei, cuts in front of Belanger. Now Belanger picks it up, throws to first, not in time. An easy, soft ground ball just by the mound to the left of the mound. It was on the way to Belanger. DeSensei cut over in front of Mark Belanger, didn't make the play on it. Belanger got the glove on the ball, threw to first, but not in time. And now Palmer's got a runner on first, and Carney Lansford is up. An infield hit. Rick Miller is on first base. Lansford struck out against Jim Palmer his first time up. Palmer looks to the runner at first. Here's the first pitch to Miller, and it's high. First pitch to Lansford, rather. It's high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to come. Now Jim Palmer doing a little manicuring out on that mound. Erected Monday by Pat Santarone. They played football here on Sunday. Next pitch outside, gets away from Dempsey, and Miller's going to go down to second base and hold up. So now the Angels have a runner in scoring position. And that's a pass ball on the part of catcher Rick Dempsey. Great crowd here at Memorial Stadium tonight. They may set the record for a playoff crowd. It's in excess of 50,000. A lot of folks came early. This ballpark started to fill up right after the gates opened. Runner off second base is Rick Miller. Lansford's up. 2 balls to count. Palmer's next pitch. It's high and a bit outside. 3 balls and no strikes to count. Dan Ford is on deck. Now Palmer again gets another baseball into this game. The Morgan State Marching Band entertained before the game tonight and really put an electrifying mood into this place. And then there was just a great rendition of the national anthem by another group from Morgan. Palmer didn't like the second baseball he got, and he got still another. He's finally got one that he can handle. 3 balls, no strikes, the count to Lansford. Look to the runner. The next pitch, it's outside. Bill?
Tom, some people might wonder, how come some pitchers never change baseballs? How come a guy like Palmer, sometimes, as he has done here this inning, changes balls so often? In Palmer's case, everything has to be right. In Palmer's case, the grip of his fingers on the ball just has to be right. He's entitled to have a change of baseballs. That's his game to work, and he's entitled to do whatever he wants.
Jim Palmer is a perfectionist, both off the field and on the field. Now here comes Ford, who homered for the only run of this game, and again the Oriole infield against this right-hander moves way over to the right side. And they'll give this fellow the left field line. Well, he didn't need it last time. He went deep. Runners off first and second. The first pitch is outside. Miller, who had an infield hit, is on second base. Lansford, who just walked, is on first. And Dan Ford is up. Palmer trying to work out of a jam. 1 ball, the count. Here's the pitch. There's a line drive out into left field by Singleton for the base hit. It's off the wall. 1 run is home. And the other runner will hold up at third base as Ford doubles down the line in right field to do more damage to Jim Palmer, scoring Rick Miller, and Lansford goes down to third base. And the Angels lead this game by a score of 2-0. And we'll get some activity underway in the Oriole bullpen. Baylor led the majors this year in runs with 120, RBIs 139, and played in 162 games, and has a chance to cash in right here. Angel runners at second and third. Palmer looks third base way. Here's the pitch to Baylor. Ground ball out to DeSensei. The throw to first to Eddie Murray in time. Don Baylor and the Angels are out, but not before coming up with another run on 2 hits, and at the end of 2.5 innings of play, the score remains California 2, Baltimore nothing. Nolan Ryan on the effect of that July injury to the elbow.
Well, I feel good about it. My arm's coming around and gets stronger each time out, and so I feel like that I'm ready. I've been able to get my work in, and everything physically has come around, so I'm looking forward to it.
Is it as strong as it was before the injury?
I don't think so. I don't think that I'm throwing quite as well as I did before the injury, but also the fact that I've been pitching and trying to get strength back in, and under a lot of stress, I think it's going to take a little longer.
Well, you heard Nolan Ryan. He says he thinks it's going to take a little longer to get that arm back into 100% condition. Well, the way he's working tonight, it looks like the arm has come around and then some. Ryan has faced 6 batters and has struck out 5. And he now faces Doug DeSensei to lead off the bottom of the third for the Orioles. California leads it 2-0. Ryan to DeSensei, fastball, swing and a miss. DeSensei against Nolan Ryan lifetime, an 0.59 hitter. He did hit .241 against California this year with 1 home run. 1 strike delivery, and Ryan took a little something off that, but it missed the strike zone with it. 1 ball to 1 strike the count.
Tom, for the first time in the ball game, and this is so for Palmer and also for Ryan, for the first time in the ball game, we have a pitcher squawking at a call by the plate umpire. Ryan thought he should have had a strike.
Well, here comes the 1-1 delivery to Doug, and that's upstairs. 2-1 the count. DeSensei, a .230 average this year, 16 home runs and 61 RBIs. An off year for DeSensei, who's been bothered much of the year by a back injury suffered early in the year. The 2-1 delivery, there's a high fly ball, popped him up, down behind first base, shallow right field. Gritch coming over near the line and dropped the ball, and it's a fair ball. And Doug DeSensei will hold up at second base. DeSensei may have been able to go to third. Rod Carew went back on that. Bobby Gritch came over, and just at the foul line, and there is an umpire right out there. Greg Koss is out there. Gritch came charging over. He put the glove up. He was just in fair territory and hit the glove and fell into foul territory. And DeSensei is on second base, and the Orioles get a break.
Tom, there is nobody in the American League who plays second base. A Paul Molitor of Milwaukee included, a Rich Dower of the Orioles included. There is nobody that goes back on a pop fly like that better than Bobby Gritch. I would think the wind in one part caused Bobby Gritch to misplay that pop fly.
Here's the pitch to Dempsey. It's a called strike on the fastball from Nolan Ryan. DeSensei is the runner at second base. So give an error to Bobby Gritch, and DeSensei is at second. 1 strike the count to Dempsey. Swing and a miss on a fastball from Nolan Ryan. I'll tell you about that one. Dower, not Dempsey, is up. When Dempsey started to get the bat around, the ball was already in the glove of Downing. Dower, however, is a .333 lifetime hitter against Nolan Ryan, but he's now the whole 2 strikes to count. Look to the runner, the next pitch. There's a little looper out into left field. Harlow's coming in under it. Puts the glove up, makes the play, and Dower is retired. Now here comes Rick Dempsey. Ryan has yet to give up a hit tonight. The only runner reaching an error by Bobby Gritch, and it's Doug DeSensei out at second base. The pitch to Dempsey, and it's outside for ball 1. Dempsey only a .185 hitter against California. Next pitch, it's high, ball 2. Angels lead it 2-0, picking up single runs in the first inning and again in the third. The Orioles threatening, 1 out, 2 balls the count to Dempsey. Popped him out foul over behind the Angel dugout and into the box seats. July 8th, the Sunday in Anaheim, California. The Orioles, behind Scott McGregor, beat California by a score of 2-1. California had a golden opportunity to tie in the 9th inning. But John Lowenstein threw out Bobby Gritch trying to get home, or Brian Downing trying to get home. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Look to the runner, and again, that one's fouled upstairs. Lowenstein got the ball in left field and fired a strike to Dempsey, who made a great play at the plate to preserve that victory. One out, 2-2, the count to Dempsey. The on-deck batter is Al Bunbury. DeSensei now with the lead at second base. Ryan looks to the runner, the 2-2 delivery. High fly ball out to left field. That one might be out of here, and it's off the wall. Dempsey is headed to second. DeSensei will score easily, and it's a 2-1 game. A drive deep to left center field. Another inch or so, and it would have been a tie ball game. the crowd is coming alive. And Brian Downing is going to go out and have a few words with Ryan. That ball hit one of the poles that holds the fence up. It just missed being a home run. In fact, the wind may have held that one in here. Well, here comes Al Bumbry with a runner at second base.
Tom, had that ball been hit the same way to right field, it would have gone out. To left field, it was actually into the teeth of the wind.
A look to the runner at second, the pitch to Bumbry, and it's fouled upstairs. So the Orioles are starting to rattle the cage of Nolan Ryan just a bit. The Sensei reached on an error by Bobby Grich. Dower then flew out to left field, and Dempsey double home to Sensei. And the count to Al Bumbry is 1 strike. Ryan looks to second base at Dempsey, the 1-strike delivery, and Al fouls that one into the upper deck. The only place you can see a vacant seat in Memorial Stadium tonight are behind the concrete pillars. In the lower deck, obstructed view seats 4,000 went on sale yesterday. Otherwise, this place is packed. 2 strikes the count to Bumbry. Next pitch, it's low, fastball low, 1-2 the count. Well, the Orioles have battled back all year long. They can do it again tonight. At least they hope they can. 1-2 delivered to Bumbry, fouled down the third base line. Al is one of the 5 Oriole players who have experience in postseason play. They are Mark Belanger, Bumbry, Terry Crowley, Lee May, and of course the pitcher for the Orioles tonight, Jim Palmer. 1-2 the count. Dempsey off the bag at second. Look to the runner. The pitch to Bumbry. Swing and a miss. He tipped it, and he's tagged out by the catcher, Brian Downing. So now there's 2 outs, and here comes Belanger. Belanger struck out his first time up, as did Bumbry and Singleton. As that fell out on the hill, Nolan Ryan struck out the side. Ryan now has 6 strikeouts for the night. Again, the look to Dempsey. The first pitch to Belanger. Fastball is fouled back on the screen. The only pitchers with more strikeouts than Nolan Ryan, who has 2,909. Walter Johnson, the Big Train, 3,508. Gaylord Perry, 3,141. And Bob Gibson, 3,117. Next pitch to Belanger. It's a called strike, and Belanger's unhappy with that call. And as Bill mentioned earlier, we're starting to get just a bit of beefing about the calls. Bill?
Tom, Barnett's strike zone is normally a small one. It just got a bit larger.
It was extended on that pitch. The 2-strike delivery, that's outside, almost gets away from Brian Downing. So the count goes to 1-2. Ryan 10 times this year, struck out more than 10 or more in a game. 1-2 delivered to Belanger, high on the fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. The fastball thrown by Nolan Ryan has been clocked at over 100 miles an hour. Dempsey doesn't have much of a lead at second, and now as Ryan walks off the mound, Rick just walks right back to that bag. You're listening to Baltimore Oriole Baseball. We're glad you're with us tonight. And we hope that you've enjoyed Oriole Baseball in 1979 and our Oriole broadcast. Dempsey off the bag at second. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Line drive out into center field for the base hit. Here comes Dempsey rounding third. Here comes the throw home. Dempsey head first slide. He's safe. And it's a tie game. And Belanger goes into second. And listen to this crowd.
Rick Dempsey, at best, has average speed. A better throw by Rick Miller, and he was kind of shallow in center field when he made the throw home. A better throw by Rick Miller might have caught Dempsey at the plate. Miller did not have a strong throw. If anything, it was a weak throw. We have a 2-2 tie.
You're right, Bill. The throw was weak. It was up the line at third and out in front in fair territory in front of the foul line. And Dempsey went head first in, and we got a tie game, and Ken Singleton's up. Belanger's at second. Way outside is the first pitch from Ryan. Almost gets away from Downing. And Belanger holds up at second, and now we're going to see the California pitching coach for the first time tonight. Bill?
Tom, pardon me for not answering you and chatting right after you immediately, but we just decided, as good as our engineering is here at the ballpark, not to fight the crowd. We don't have to fight it right now. But I would guess you're thinking, how come a Nolan Ryan in the first 2 innings can strike out 5 of 6 batters and suddenly fall apart a bit and begin to weaken in the third? Well, we got a couple of observations. Number one, he struck out a couple of Oriole batters on 3-2 pitches. All his strikeouts in the first 2 innings were on fastballs. He is not throwing quite as hard now in the third.
Next pitch to Singleton. They popped him up, but it's into the seats upstairs behind home plate. So the count to Ken Singleton, who struck out his first time up, is 1-1. Well, the Birds have battled back to tie it. Belanger's off the bag at second. Nolan Ryan looks in to get his side from Downing. Looks back to Belanger. The pitch to Singleton. It's low. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. And we would imagine that if Singleton gets on, gets a hit, walks, that we could be seeing some activity out in that California bullpen. Ryan is trying to snap a 6-game losing streak against the Orioles, and now Singleton steps out just as Ryan was getting ready to pitch. He hasn't beat the Orioles since tossing a 3-hit 6-0 triumph against Doyle Alexander in April of 1976. That was at Anaheim. And he hasn't won a game here at the stadium, Memorial Stadium, since May 18th, 1975. Next pitch to Singleton. Foul shot up into the seats in the upper deck off the third base line. He's 0-2 against Jim Palmer. He lost 12-2 against Palmer at April 28th, way back in 1972. And 5-0, May 6, 1973. Both those decisions for Palmer were at Memorial Stadium. 2-2, the count to Singleton, 2 outs. Belanger's at second base. Ryan comes home with the next pitch. It's high and tight. And he'll have to make this one a good one. Ryan lifetime at Memorial Stadium is 3-8 in 12 games. Full count to Singleton. Ryan's next delivery, it's outside. And Singleton walks. And after 2 trouble-free innings, Ryan is having his problems. DeCense reached on an error. Scored on a double by DeCense. Bumbry then struck out. Belanger singled home Dempsey, and now Singleton has walked. And indeed, there appears to be activity underway out in the California bullpen. We'll see who's getting up and going out to warm up. Now, runners at first and second, and Mr. Ryan has to face a pretty tough customer, Eddie Murray. Eddie struck out his first time up tonight. Runners at first and second. Ryan's first pitch to Murray. It's high. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Eddie had a notion to go for that one, but held up. Just kind of shakes his head in disbelief at the velocity of that speedball. And Mark Clear, who's done an outstanding job, the rookie Mark Clear, is up and warming in the California bullpen. Runners at first and second. 1 ball, the count to Murray. The next pitch, and Eddie fouls that one upstairs.
Tom, Clear primarily during the year when he was used effectively in relief was a late inning short reliever. He has been up early in ball games before, but not too often. So maybe it's a bit surprising to see the young kid clear, warming as early as the third inning. But he's up anyhow.
Thank you, Bill. Belanger is at second base. Singleton's at first. 1-1 the count to Eddie. Here's the champ. The next pitch, and Eddie fouls that one upstairs. Ryan is just saying to Eddie Murray, here's my fastball, the best I've got. See what you can do with it. In his nearly 3 years with the Orioles, Eddie Murray, the Iron Man of this staff, has only missed one game. And the chant goes up. It starts in section 34. Eddie, Eddie. 1-2 the count. Belanger at second, Singleton at first. Here's the 1-2 delivery from Ryan. It's inside. No, it's a call, strike 3. Looked to be inside. Eddie's going to howl a bit about it, but he won't change Barnett's expanding strike zone. So at the end of 2 full innings of play, the Orioles have tied it up. They picked up 1 run on 2 hits. And at the end of 2, the score is California 2, Baltimore 2. Well, Rod Carew's going to lead off against Palmer, and here's how Palmer feels about the man who's won the batting title 7 times.
Well, I think the key to pitching to Rod Carew is getting the guys out in front of him. He's going to get his hits. There isn't a pitch in baseball that he can't hit. You know, he can bunt with 2 strikes. He can do so many things, and his capabilities are so tremendous that it really doesn't give the pitcher much of a chance. But, you know, even if he hits 350, that means I'm going to get him out, I guess, 65 out of 100 times. And hopefully tonight he'll hit some balls, and if he hits them hard, hopefully he'll hit them at people.
Well, so far, he's only hit 1, and he hit it at somebody, and Jim Palmer hopes he keeps it up. Palmer facing his old nemesis, Rod Carew. And Rod Carew had a lot of praise for Jim Palmer in his book, Carew. Very interesting book. First pitch to Rod Carew. It's a call strike. We're moving into the top of the 4th inning at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, the American League Championship Playoff Series. Here's the 1-strike delivery to Rod. That one bounced on the ground out in front of the plate, right on by Dempsey and back to the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Palmer's ready to work again. Now he shakes Dempsey off. Get another side. Here comes the 1-1 delivery to Rod Carew. There's a line drive base hit down into left field. It's off the wall. Kelly will pick it up, and Carew is going to go into second with a stand-up double. Now Jim Palmer, once he has a runner like Carew on.
I think the biggest plus that I see for me is that I have Rick Dempsey catching me, and as far as I'm concerned, he throws better than anybody in the American League. And you know, my job when I get a guy on is number 1 to hold him close, but also get rid of the ball quickly. And when I do that, we have a good chance of throwing anybody out because Rick throws so well.
And you know that Rod Carew has been successful stealing third base against Jim Palmer, at least according to Palmer. So now Carew leads off the 4th with a double, and Palmer will have to work to Brian Downing the 2nd time tonight. Downing grounded out the 3rd his first time up. Carew in scoring position. Palmer wants Dempsey to run the signs again. He will. And here's the pitch to Downing. There's a ground ball to Dower at second. He'll throw to Murray covering, and Carew goes down to third with no problem at all.
Tom, in the game summary that might be in the newspapers tomorrow morning or in the box score, that's another 0 for 1 at bat for Brian Downing, another ground out to second baseman Dower. But really, it's more than that. Downing gave himself up completely, decided that he could hit Palmer's stuff to the off side of the field, the right side of the field, and what he did was get Carew to third base. That's what he wanted to do, and he succeeded.
Well, now Bobby Grich is going to face Jim Palmer. You know, we recall seeing earlier this year Bobby Grich, or the play he missed, he made that error to drop one. I think it was against the Tigers. He went after a ball hit just like that and made a great catch down the line. Carew's at third base. First pitch to Grich, it's high. It almost gets away from Dempsey, and Rick says, I think I'll go out and have a little chat with Jim. Palmer a bit reluctant to start this game at first when he was nominated by manager Earl Weaver to do so. Then he went out and won his last couple of games of the year, said he felt very good in Cleveland last Friday night. Palmer had been saying that the club would score, more runs for possibly a Mike Flanagan played better behind him. Well, they scored 27 runs for Palmer in his last 2 outings. Here's the pitch to Grich, and Palmer misses the strike zone. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Rod Carew is the runner at third base. The game is all tied up at 2-2, and we're in the top of the 4th inning. The best of 3 out of 5, the American League Championship Series. The Angels in it for the first time, the Orioles in it for the 6th time. They've won 3, 69, 70, and 71, and losing twice to the California Angels. To the Oakland A's, rather. Carew at third. 2-ball delivery, and that one's fouled back onto the screen behind home plate. 2-1 the count. The weather is not what you'd call ideal for baseball, but considering the time of year that it is in early October, you'd have to say it's kind of a delightful October night. 2-1 the count with 1 out. Palmer now will just take a little gaze over to Carew at third. 2-1 pitch is on the way, and it's high. 3-1 the count to Bobby Grich.
Here is the paid attendance.
Well, the paid attendance is on the way tonight. 52,787. A tremendous crowd. 3-1 pitch to Bobby Grich, and he fouls it up into the seats, upstairs down the first base line. Grich was batting about .220 in August last year. He just found it difficult to comprehend what was going on, and finally he finished up the season well. One time he asked to be taken out of the lineup. Did a lot of work. He's had a bad back. He's had it operated on. Did a lot of work in the off season trying to strengthen the back muscles, and just was determined to come back and not ride the pine, not to sit on the bench. And he's having his finest year, and the $1 million plus investment that Gene Autry and company made in Bobby Grich is finally starting to pay off. Full count, 3-2 delivery on the way, and that one's fouled upstairs as well. If that's not a record crowd for a playoff game, I'll tell you it's close. And there'll be a humongous crowd here again tomorrow afternoon. Full count to Grich with a runner on third and 1 out. Palmer trying to work out of a jam. Comes home with a pitch, and there's a high fly ball down the right field line, fading over into foul territory. Eddie Murray near the box seats, puts the glove up. Did Eddie make the catch? No, he did not. It fell into the box seats. Actually, not really the box seats. Now, had the Orioles not put in some temporary box seats there, Eddie might have been able to make a play, because that's where it fell. They've put some temporary box seats down the first base line and the third base line down into the outfield areas, and it fell right there. Eddie could have made that play if they didn't put in those extra seats.
Tom, tonight's playoff crowd of 52,700 plus is the largest for any playoff game in Baltimore.
3-2 delivery, it's high, and Bobby Grich walks. So the California Angels now have runners at first and third, and Earl Weaver is coming out of the Oriole dugout, and he'll have a talk with Jim Palmer, and we see the call has gone to the Oriole bullpen, and it looks like Sammy Stewart is getting up to warm. The Orioles this year winning 102 games. The California Angels won 88 and lost 74.
Tom Weaver's out there for more than one reason. Number one, he's out there to tell Palmer how he'd like to see him work and pitch to Larry Harlow. He was also out there to tell Mark Belanger and inform the rest of the infield how he wanted them to play with men at first and third, with one out, and with the left-hand batter Harlow to face Palmer.
Here comes the Hawk, Larry Harlow, and it is Sammy Stewart warming in the Oriole bullpen. Rod Carew is the runner at third base, and Bobby Grich is at first. Harlow grounded out to Eddie Murray his first time up. Swing and a miss on a curveball from Palmer. Bill?
Tom, the way the infield is set up now, DeCinces tied at third, Murray holding on the runner, Grich at first, with Carew at third, Belanger back deep, Dower second baseman playing halfway. The way it's set up right now, with a ball hit to third, if Carew runs home, they throw home. The ball is hit to short at second. They try to go for the double play and wrap up the inning.
The pitcher's best friend, that DP, and Palmer'd like to pick up one right now. The pitch to Harlow, the left-hander, swing and a miss, strike two. Went for the Palmer curve and missed it. That time he went for the fastball and missed it. Grich is at first base, and Rod Carew is at third. Harlow's in the hole, 2 strikes the count. Palmer's fastball, swing and a miss. Strike 3, and sit down Larry Harlow. And for Jim Palmer, that's his second strikeout on the night. Now we'll see Belanger back up a bit at third base. And we'll see Jim Anderson for the second time tonight. Anderson grounded out to Belanger at short his first time up. Now, Anderson is a right-hander, but Kelly will play him well off the line. Oh, maybe 40 yards or so off the line in left field. Al Bumbry is cut to the right field side, and Ken Singleton is playing just about straight away at right field against Jim Anderson. As we mentioned earlier, Anderson is a .248 hitter. We didn't mention that he's had a pretty good year against the Birds, 7 for 21, hitting over 300. Palmer gets the sign from Dempsey. First pitch to Anderson, and he fouls one into the upper deck down the right field line. This is the only sport of the major sports where if you have the best record in the particular sport, here in baseball, Palmer's getting a new baseball, you don't get some kind of advantage. In hockey and basketball, football, if you have the best record in the sport, you're usually given the home field or the home court advantage. The Orioles, in a sense, have a home field advantage in that they're opening this series here, but they have to play 3 games in California. One strike to count to the batter, Jim Anderson. Runners at first and third. The next pitch from Palmer, it's high. 1-1 the count. One of these teams will survive this 5-game series and will go to play either the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Cincinnati Reds in the World Series that will get underway in the American League City next Tuesday. The pitch, and it's fouled into the upper deck down the first base line. And the Bucks won a gun today, and they lead Cincinnati 2-0. And we'll take a station break as soon as we get time. The Orioles have to go all the way to California, but they don't get a travel day. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, yes, you guessed it. There is a travel day for that series. 1-2 the count to the batter, Anderson. Palmer's got him in the hole with runners at first and third. Big Jim comes home with a pitch, and it's high. And the count goes to 2-2. Palmer looks over to the first base area. Now we'll look in to get the sign. Here's the pitch. Popped him up. Out towards third base way. Sensei now coming over into foul territory. Makes the catch. And the Orioles are out of this inning. And at the end of 3.5 innings of play, the score remains Baltimore 2 and California 2.
With Virginia tag SVC 549. Report your card at once. And will John Soldier please report to the police command post, motor structure 41.
Well, in the bottom of the fourth inning, in what is a 2-2 ball game, Pat Kelly, Lee May, and Doug DeCinces will take on Nolan Ryan. And before we do that, right now we pause for station identification on the Orioles Baseball Network. Well, Nolan Ryan couldn't have started this ball game much stronger than he did. In fact, he retired the first 6 batters he faced, 5 of whom he struck out. But then there was kind of crack in the barn door, and the barn door opened when Bobby Grich dropped a pop fly inside the right field line off the bat of Doug DeCinces. That came last inning. The Orioles eventually scored twice to tie the game. Okay, Tom.
And here's Pat Kelly against Nolan Ryan for the second time tonight. Pitch to Kelly, and it's a call strike just on the inner portion of the plate. Pat Kelly officially became a 10-year man in the bigs this year. Here's the 3-1 delivery to the Orioles leadoff batter, and he walks. So Pat Kelly walks, and here comes Lee May.
Tom, the radar gun knows better than we do up in the booth. But I have a suspicion from what we've been watching in the booth that Nolan Ryan is not throwing anywhere near as hard as he was in the first 2 innings.
Carew will hold at the bag over the first base with Pat Kelly. May swings and fouls it upstairs. 1 strike. You mentioned May being around. Started, of course, with the Cincinnati Reds, then with Houston, now with Baltimore. And over a span in the big leagues, he has hit 343 home runs, a lot of big ones. Waiting on the next one, there goes Kelly. The pitch is taken for a ball throw to second, not in time. It's a stolen base for Kelly. The ball bounds away from Grich. there's no further advance by Pat Kelly. A steal for Kelly. And the Baltimore Orioles taking advantage of that high kick by Nolan Ryan. Ryan, in order to get good leverage, kicks that left foot way up in the air, and then, of course, gives the base runner a lot of leverage. Gets a big jump normally on Nolan Ryan. And Kelly got that jump. Pitch was called a ball. There is a 1-1 count now on Lee May. Oh, here's Ryan ready to work again. Here's a foul upstairs. 1-2, the count on May.
This fellow's gone deep quite a few times in his career. Since 1966, he has hit 343 home runs for the Cincinnati Reds, the Houston Astros, and the Baltimore Orioles. Kelly off the bag at second. The pitch to May, way outside. It gets away from Downing, and Kelly will go down to third base.
Ryan trying to get a little extra on a fastball and throw it past Lee May. Instead, threw it past his catcher. That should be a wild pitch. And the Orioles now have to go ahead and run over third base with nobody out here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And it is a wild pitch charged to Nolan Ryan. Well, that puts Ryan and the Angels in trouble now. The game tied 2-2. Man at third base, Pat Kelly, walked, stole second, took third on a wild pitch. Like that old Chicago White Sox rally back in the 50s.
The Go-Go Sox?
Yeah.
Minoso, the late Nellie Brock, Aparicio, Nellie Jungle, Jim Rivera.
Yeah. Well, they're going to play the infield back for California. And there's a swing and a foul back at the plate.
Facing Nolan Ryan, 2-2 the count. It's a 2-2 game. Kelly's the runner at third. The 2-2 delivery, swing and a miss, as Lee May went after an outside pitch. And another strikeout for Nolan Ryan.
Well, Tom, when you tell somebody through the radio or around the ballpark, Nolan Ryan has 8 strikeouts in less than 4 innings, they say, well, the fireballer must be throwing pretty hard. Well, his 6th strikeout was a breaking ball. His 8th strikeout now to Lee May, a breaking ball, not a fastball. Earlier, he was striking out guys with the hard stuff.
Well, here's DeCinces, and the pitch to DeCinces. Line drive out to left field, right into the glove of Dan Ford. Kelly tags up. He's headed home. Here comes the throw. Gritchell cut it off. Kelly's home with a go-ahead run. So DeCinces whacks Ryan's first pitch, a line drive out to Dan Ford, and the heads-up play of Pat Kelly. He headed right for home.
Tom, Doug DeCinces just did for the Orioles what Brian Downing did last inning. Downing with a runner at second base, beat a ground ball to the right side. He wanted to get his bat to the right side. He did that to advance the runner. DeCinces just did the same thing this inning, but even more productively.
All right, Bill, and the first pitch to Dower is a ball, and the Orioles have picked up a run without benefit of a hit. Here in the third inning, Kelly walked, stole second, went to third on a wild pitch, and scored on a sacrifice. Next pitch, it's just on the outer portion of the plate for a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. DeCinces has now scored a run and gets credit for an RBI. A 1-1 delivery to Dower. And that pitch is high for a ball, too. You know, you look at Dower's stats on the year, not all that impressive as far as his batting average is concerned. .257 average, 9 home runs, but he had a lot of RBIs, 61, and 14 game-winning RBIs. Nobody on, 2 out, 2-1 pitch to Dower, and it's a called strike on a curveball from Ryan. 2-2 delivery. There's a ground ball out to short. Anderson takes it on the second up, throw to first in time. And Dower is retired 6-3, but the Orioles pick up another run. And at the end of 4 full innings of play, the score is Baltimore 3, California 2.
Well, friends, through 4 innings so far, the visiting California Angels are out hitting the Orioles, but at the moment not outscoring them. The Orioles have come from behind. They have now assumed a 3-2 lead at the end of the 4th inning. Jim Palmer has had only 1 strong inning. That was the 2nd inning when he got Carew, Downing, and Grich 1-2-3. He was strong to start the game, getting Miller on a ground ball and striking out Lansford. However, he then gave up a solo home run pitch to Dan Ford for a 1-0 lead. After his stronger 2nd inning, he got into 2-out difficulty in the 3rd, an infield base hit to Rick Miller with 2 out, a walk to Lansford, a run-scoring double to right field by Dan Ford, and it has been Ford who has driven in both of the Angel runs. And it will be Ford who, among others, will go against Palmer again in the top of the 5th inning. It'll be right at the top of the order. Miller 1 for 2 in the game. Carney Lansford 0 for 1 in the game plus a walk. And Dan Ford with a 1st inning home run and a 3rd inning run-scoring double. Those 3 to come to the plate now in the top of the 5th inning. But Palmer and the Orioles are leading 3-2. All right, Tom.
Well, here comes Rick Miller to face Jim Palmer. As Bill mentioned, Palmer has a 1-run lead. The Birds lead it 3-2. Pitch to Miller. They popped him up. Shallow fly ball, actually, out to left field. Kelly's getting under it, puts the glove up, and Miller is a quick out as we get underway in the top of the 5th inning.
Third baseman, Carney Lansford.
And here comes Carney Lansford. Struck out his first time up, then walked in the 3rd inning. Got all the way to 3rd, but did not score. Palmer to Lansford. High fly ball out to left center field. Pat Kelly's going back, waving off Bumbry, and Kelly makes the catch just in front of Al Bumbry, and another out. So Palmer faces 2 men and gets him in a hurry. Both to Pat Kelly in left field. Kelly waved off Al Bumbry. He kept yelling, "I've got it, I've got it." Put the glove up. Bumbry was right behind him with his glove ready, just in case Kell had a problem with it. And here comes Dan Ford. He accounted for the 1st run of the game in the 1st inning. Palmer retired the first 2 batters, and then Ford went deep.
Right fielder, Dan Ford.
Palmer to Ford. Don Baylor is on deck. Palmer's pitch to Ford. It's a call strike. And the strike zone that time extended a bit for a California player. One strike delivery on the way from Palmer. And the changeup is right in there at the letters for a call strike 2. So Ford's in the hole, 2 strikes the count. And Don Baylor's on deck should Ford keep the California Angels alive here in the top of the 5th inning. Palmer's pitch, ground ball, out to Dower at second. He's got it, chest high hop, throw to first in time. And the California Angels are out 1, 2, 3. And at the end of 4.5 innings of play, the score, Baltimore 3, California 2. $52,000 plus here at Memorial Stadium. And up in section 34, there's a couple of hundred people, and it looks like they got orange handkerchiefs, and they've been waving them all night long, having a great time, as is everyone here at the ballpark. And a fine hand goes out tonight to the many ushers and base bells and people who work in this ballpark with a big crowd like this and have to keep busy the entire game. And also to Lieutenant Phil Ferrace and Baltimore's men in blue who are working tonight. Well, here comes Rick Dempsey, one of the Oriole heroes so far tonight, to face Nolan Ryan as we get underway in the bottom of the 5th inning with the Orioles leading by a score of 3-2 to take you the rest of the way. Here's Bill.
Thank you, Tom, and hello again, everybody. Dempsey against Ryan. Here's a fly ball, pretty well hit, deep to right field. Ford is on the warning path. Ford with about 2 steps to spare. Ford makes the catch in deep right field. So Dempsey has gone kind of deep both times up tonight. He had a double off the fence in left in the 3rd inning to drive in the first Oriole run. Now he pushes Ford to the deep path in right field for a fly ball in the bottom of the 5th inning. Dempsey is gone, and here's Al Bumbry, struck out on a 3-2 pitch in the opening inning, struck out on a 1-2 pitch in the 3rd inning. So he is 2 parts of Ryan's 8 strikeouts. Fastball fouled upstairs a little bit to the third base side of the plate, strike 1. Bumbry in his Oriole career against Nolan Ryan has rarely had success against the Texas-bred right-hander. Ryan Combs, strike 1. Hard-breaking stuff is high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ryan, for you late tuners in, struck out the side in the opening inning. In fact, he fanned 5 of the first 6 batters he faced. He added a strikeout in the 3rd and added 2 in the 3rd and 1 in the 4th. Fastball is in at the hands. 2 tight, 2 balls, 1 strike to Bumbry, to be followed by Belanger. The 2-1 by the right-hander. High and away, ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. One other time tonight, there has been activity in the Angel bullpen with Mark Clear. The Oriole bullpen tonight has been busy twice in the early innings with Stewart. Now the 3-1 to Bumbry. A weak swing and a strike. Bumbry got fooled on a breaking ball low inside and did not have a major league cut. So he has gone 3 balls, 2 strikes with Ryan. 1 gone in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Orioles trailed 1-0, trailed 2-0, tied the game with a 2-run 3rd, went ahead with a 1-run 4th. Ryan making Bumbry wait. Now rocks and winds, kicks and deals. A ground ball to third base, and up with it cleanly is Lansford, and then he throws out Bumbry. A ground ball right at Lansford. Lansford to Carew, 2 away. Well, the greeting is for Mark Belanger. It was Belanger who ripped a base hit to center in the 3rd inning to drive in that inning the tie run. The irony of the Orioles scoring in the early innings is the fact that a 167 batter, a 230 batter, and a 239 batter have been the producers. Here's a letter high breaking ball, strike 1. Belanger, a 167 batter, knocked in a run. Dempsey, a 239 batter, drove in a run. DeCinces, a 230 batter, drove in a run. And now as Ryan started to wind, Belanger, giving himself a bit of an edge, stepped out. That's a smart thing to do, even if Belanger was not comfortable. Now Belanger is ready, and here comes Ryan with 2 out. Breaking stuff is low, 1 ball, 1 strike. In the early going, Ryan rarely threw the breaking pitch. In the recent innings, he's been going to the breaking pitch more. He kicks and delivers, 1-1. fastball fouled straight back. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Belanger. Mark is one of Ryan's 8 strikeout victims. He took a 3rd strike from a 1-2 pitch in the opening inning. Now, a previous time this year, in one of his 2 starts against the Orioles, Ryan began the ball game striking out the side. Did it again tonight. 1-2 to Belanger. Here's a high fly ball towards left center field. Harlow with an easy play, advancing and makes the catch for the final out. In the Angels' 6th inning, Don Baylor will lead it off. At the end of 5, Baltimore 3, California 2.
Well, Jim Palmer has to go against Don Baylor and Rod Carew in this inning to start things off, and then Brian Downing. A little earlier, we let you hear Jim Palmer talk about how he deals with Rod Carew, and here's Palmer on Don Baylor.
It really depends how Donnie's swinging. When he's hot, you almost have to pitch around him. He can hit any pitch at any time and out of the ballpark, and primarily likes the ball down and out over the plate compared to. But I don't usually pitch guys in. It really depends on what kind of fastball I have and what kind of control I have. I basically try to keep the ball in the ballpark and challenge them. And really what it comes down is my strength against theirs.
My strength against theirs. Jim Palmer's strength against Don Baylor. Well, so far tonight, Don Baylor has not got to Jim Palmer. Flying out to center field and grounding out to third. And we'll see that match of strength once again. Jim Palmer against Don Baylor. And here to kind of referee is Bill O'Donnell.
Well, Don Baylor's strong enough this year to be the #1 ball player in the major league in runs batted in. Also the #1 man in the major leagues in runs scored. Baylor batting for the 3rd time tonight. Sends a high pop fly to shallow right. The retreating Rich Dower is under it and makes the catch. Falls down, and has he kept it in the glove? He has. The retreating Rich Dower played the pop fly over one shoulder, made the catch, then fell down on his knees, but did not lose the ball out of the glove. So Baylor is 0 for 3 right now tonight against Jim Palmer. Baylor retired, and here is Carew. Rodney has grounded to second and doubled into the left field corner. A fellow who is a real artist with a bat in his hand. DeCinces at third, near the line to the grass, inside the bag. Palmer's high to Carew for ball 1. Carew is played over to the line a bit in left by Kelly, in straightaway right by Singleton. Swings and lines a base hit to right field. Carew 2 for 3 in the ball game, and the Angels now have 5 hits off Palmer in 5 1/3 innings. Carew stands at first base as he roped a base hit, a solid base knock to right, to bring up the catcher, Brian Downing. Twice tonight, Downing has grounded out to third base in the 2nd, to second base in the 4th. And Palmer at the moment about to face the 4th leading hitter that the American League had this year. Fred Lynn of Boston batted .333 to lead the league, followed by Kansas City's George Brett, Lynn's teammate Jim Rice at Boston, and then Downing, who batted .326. Downing, one of several Angels to have 70 or more runs batted in. His totals were 75. Here's a high pop-up near the mound. DeCinces charging over behind the mound, makes the catch to the first base side of the mound, and came pretty close to colliding with Eddie Murray. Murray was standing to the right slope of the mound, off the grass. DeCinces came behind Palmer came up near the top of the mound, then drifted to the first base side of the mound, made the catch, and breezed right by Murray and came close to knocking him over. But he makes the play, and that's out number 2. Now second baseman Bobby Grich popped up in the second, walked on a 3-2 pitch in the 4th inning. Bobby Grich, one of the 3 Angels to drive in over 100 runs. Bobby drove in 101, Baylor 139, Ford 101. Well, now a big, looks like a beach ball. A big beach ball came out of the stands in left field and will be tossed back over the fence just outside the Oriole bullpen. Palmer's worked out of a couple of jams tonight, especially the jam he had in the 4th inning with 2 on and 1 out, and came off the 4th inning unscathed, striking out Harlow and then coaxing Anderson into a foul pop-up. Here's Bobby Grich. The runner goes, and it's fouled upstairs. So they were playing run with Carew and swing with Grich, and Grich fouled it back. No balls, 1 strike to Bobby. He and Orioles second baseman Rich Dower, a lot alike. At least a lot alike in these terms. They are both what ball players call gamers. They are both hard-nosed. Defensively, I would say that Grich has more range than a Rich Dower. Carew off first base with 2 outs, staying. The pitch is just off the outside corner, not by much. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bobby Grich. The Angels skipper, Jim Fregosi, has said the most gratifying thing that happened to the Angels this year was the comeback play of number 4, Mr. Grich. Here's a bluff move by Palmer at the lead of Carew. Carew went back to the bag, now moves off again, and now goes to the outfield end of the bag and came close to coming off the bag as Palmer threw to Murray. Now Carew did run on the first pitch, which Grich fouled off. The count now is 1-1. What does Carew do? He stays. Here's a long drive to deep left center field. Kelly cuts over, dives, and can't make a play. It's on the warning path. Carew is around third. Grich pulls in with a double as Carew scores to tie the game. Grich reached Palmer for a line drive double between the diving Kelly and the pursuing center fielder Bumbry. Grich really hammered it to tie the game. Carew scores the tie run. Grich at second with 2 out, and the batter, Larry Harlow, and that'll get action in the Oriole bullpen for the 3rd time tonight. One 1-0 California first inning, 2-0 California third inning, 2-2 when the Orioles scored 2 in the 3rd, 3-2 Orioles when they broke ahead in the 4th. Now the Angels tie the game in the 6th. Palmer looks back to Grich, and here's a swing and a miss to Harlow. It was simply no contest between Palmer and Harlow when the Hawks struck out in the 4th inning with 2 on and 1 away. Grich leads right ahead of the shortstop Belanger at 2 out at second. The 0-1. Here's a pitch just inside, kind of close to Harlow's hands. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big fella in the Oriole bullpen, the biggest physically they have out there, is now warming, and that's Tim Stoddard. Harlow tonight is 0 for 2. He has bounced to first, plus the 4th inning strikeout. Palmer back home, and he's too close to the hands again. 2 balls, 1 strike to Harlow. Harlow filled kind of a void in the Angel outfield after the Angels lost Rick Miller in June. Harlow joined them in early July, and he wound up the year batting .241. Palmer to Harlow, 2-1. Swing and a miss. He could not reach the high hard one. 2-2 the count. Harlow is the 8th batter in the order. If he gets on, they'll come up with shortstop Jim Anderson. 6 hits off Palmer plus 3 runs, and we have a tie game in the 6th inning. To look back to Grich, the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Harlow down on strikes for the 2nd straight time in the middle of the 6th inning. Baltimore 3, California 3.
Attention, please. Will John Wiseman please report to the Orioles office at once?
just a reminder that these two teams will tangle again tomorrow afternoon. The first pitch is due at 3:15. We'll be on the air with our pregame show tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and we'll be talking with Mike Flanagan, the Orioles candidate for the Cy Young Award. Flanagan 23-9 will go against Frost 16-10 for the California Angels tomorrow. And now as we go to the bottom of the sixth inning, this game all knotted up at 3 apiece. Ken Singleton is going to face Nolan Ryan. And Ken Singleton can't remember getting a lot of hits off Nolan Ryan, but Kenny will frankly admit that he remembers a lot striking out against Nolan Ryan. And so far tonight, Singleton has struck out once and has walked. And we go back to Bill O'Donnell. Bill?
Tom, it's sometimes difficult to tell what are telling signs in a pitcher's performance. But the fifth inning was the only inning in which Ryan did not strike out a batter. His first pitch in the bottom of the sixth inning, way outside to Singleton, whom he struck out in the opening inning and then walked in the third inning. Ryan kicks and fires 1-0. He is low inside. So he's gone outside. Now the other way, way inside. Singleton did not like the movement of that pitch and asked plate umpire Barnett to check the ball. Barnett keeps the ball in the ball game. Singleton is all ready, and here comes Ryan. 2 balls, no strikes. Fouled on the third base side to the upper deck. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ryan's given up only 2 base hits, a Dempsey double in the third, a Belanger run-scoring single in the third, and that's the hit total. 2 balls, 1 strike to Singleton. Fly ball, well hit, deep left field. Harlow's on the warning path and runs it down in left field. So Singleton flies to deep left, flying to the opposite field as a left-hand batter. Eddie Murray, the batter, struck out on a high fastball in the second inning, struck out again in the third inning. He was strikeout number 4, strikeout number 7 against Ryan tonight. Ryan has now retired 7 in a row since giving Kelly a walk in the fourth inning. He is on the outside corner, strike 1. I think Murray's out of the box for 2 reasons. Number 1, he is annoyed at the call of plate umpire Larry Barnett, and number 2, Eddie wants to make sure that he cools off before standing back in again. He was beginning to get ready. Ryan started to wind. Murray was not ready and moved away. 1 out, nobody on. Here comes Ryan to Murray, strike 1. A changeup lined, foul, outside the line at first base. That's one of the few times tonight that Ryan has thrown an off-speed pitch to a batter. But he has Eddie fooled a little bit, and he's ahead, strike 2. Now, all you people know what a great credit Eddie Murray has been to the Orioles with a bat in his hand. But he has really given them better defensive play than he's given credit for. Strike 2 pitch. Low and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. I tell you, Nolan Ryan had pretty good location on that strike 2 pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Murray with Kelly on deck. A number of times tonight, even in the opening inning he did this, Ryan leaves the mound and takes a long stroll. He just did that after the 1-2 pitch. Now he's back on top. Winds and works again. Inside, drives Murray completely out of the box. The count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ryan has walked 2 batters. Singleton in the third, Kelly in the fourth. He has fanned 8. He's delivered a wild pitch, has given up 3 runs, only 2 base hits. Murray now getting the bat in motion. He's all ready for Ryan's 2-2 offering. Here it is. Inside, a borderline pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Downing tried to cheat a bit with the mitt and dragged the pitch to the inside corner, but it was too close to the hands. So the count is full to Eddie Murray. The count was full to Eddie Murray in the second inning when he chased a high fastball and struck out. So let's see what Ryan feeds him with another 3-2 pitch here in the sixth inning with 1 out, nobody on. Ryan kicks, and here he is, 3-2. Pitch is way outside, ball 4. That pitch completely got away from Nolan Ryan. He has now walked 3 batters in 5 1/3 innings. He led the American League in strikeouts with 223, far more than Ron Guidry of the Yankees and Mike Flanagan of the Orioles. Guidry had 200, Flanny had 190. And we think about Flanagan, of course, and think ahead also to tomorrow afternoon when Mike Flanagan opposes the Angels and opposes David Frost. Murray, a lead run at first base, will be held by Rod Carew with 1 out. Kelly has bounced out, walked, stolen a base, scored a run. Ryan works. Here's a line drive hit to left field. Murray will advance to second base. The pitch was a little bit outside, and Pat Kelly wound up a wise hitter. He didn't try to pull the outside pitch against the likes of Orion, throwing 90 miles an hour or better. He went right with the pitch and roped it to left field. Kelly at first, Murray at second. 1 out, and the batter is Lee May. Lee May, definitely productive the first half of the year, but just as definitely not too productive the second half of the year. Tonight, he has faced Ryan twice, and it's been Ryan's game tonight against Lee May. Struck him out in the second inning on a fastball in, struck him out in the 4th inning on a breaking ball away. Lead run at second, that's Murray. Pad run at first base, that's Kelly, and they'll lead with 1 out. Breaking ball fanned at weakly and missed by Lee May. Fanned at weakly because Lee May was trying to check his swing and did not check it in time. So a quick edge now to Nolan Ryan. No balls, 1 strike. After Singleton flied to deep left, Murray walked. Kelly just beat a base hit to left. 2 on, 1 out. Strike 1 delivery coming, but instead of throw back to second base, Rich broke to the bag. Eddie Murray was not fooled, and Eddie Murray stepped back to the bag and got there safely. There is warm-up activity in the Angel bullpen. I believe it's the tall right-hander, Mark Clear again. Strike 1 pitch. Here's a ground ball to third base. Up with it. They throw to second for 1. To first, they get a double play. Lansford to Gritch to Carew for outs 2 and 3. And the 6th inning is over. The Angels' 7th inning will begin with Jim Anderson. At the end of 6 complete, Baltimore 3, California 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, the answer to tonight's question will appear on the scoreboard at the end of the 7th inning.
As we go to the top of the 7th inning, it's all knotted up at 3 apiece. The Orioles against the California Angels. These 2 teams will play here again tomorrow afternoon. Then they will charter immediately, 2 separate planes, of course, to the West Coast for games 3, 4, and 5, 4 and 5 if needed, at the Big A in Anaheim. Now, as we get underway in the top of the 7th, Jim Palmer will work to Jim Anderson, and we go back to Bill.
Well, Anderson, the 9th batter in the California order, so that means Rick Miller and Carney Lansford right after him. Palmer's had complete success thus far against this right-hand batting youngster. had him bounced to short in the third and fouled to third base in the fourth inning. He got Anderson to foul to DeCinces with men at first and third and 2 out in the fourth inning. Now Palmer works, and it's a little bit under the knees for ball 1 as we begin the top of the 7th inning. 3-3 the score. This game tonight has been tied twice. The 1-0 right in there. That was a perfect strike. Cut the plate in half and came in belt high to Jim Anderson, who finished off the year batting at .248. Palmer quickly back. Here's a high pop foul back towards the screen. Dempsey is there right by the screen, makes the catch. He didn't have too much room, but he got to it. So Anderson has fouled out to Dempsey for out number 1. Here's the center fielder, Rick Miller. His .293 batting average this year, his career high in the major leagues, even though he was out about 5 weeks in June and July with a broken hand. Tonight, 1 for 3 against Palmer. Had an infield hit in the third, later scored a run. He scored on Ford's double to right. Miller, a left-hand batter. He's got a slightly closed stance from the back line of the box. Strike outside corner, knee high to this left-hand batter. Played right back of the grass and wide of the foul line at third by DeCinces. Next pitch by Palmer. Strike again, outside corner. This one was letter high. Palmer's first pitch, knee high outside corner. Palmer's second pitch, letter high outside corner. So quite an advantage now for Jim Palmer. 1 out, nobody on with Lansford on deck. Palmer's got to wait. Miller resets the feet. The smooth winding right-hander delivers again, and a late swing by Miller, but he's got a piece of that pitch to stay alive. Palmer, as far as we know tonight, not experiencing any of the physical ailments that he's had since spring training. The ailments like a bad back, a bummed shoulder, a sore elbow, and a little bit of pain in his forearm. But so far, none tonight. Strike 2 pitch again to Miller. A slow breaking ball is low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Miller grounded out to begin the game, had the base hit and scored in the third, flied to left in the fifth. A 1-2 offering by Palmer. Here's a fly ball to left field. Kelly retreating, and runs it down within about 2 strides of the warning path in left field. So Miller got on a fly ball to left after Anderson fouled to the catcher. Now the Angel third baseman, and that's Carney Lansford. This fellow was tied for 4th in the American League in base hits. And he's a fellow that also will surprise you with his power. He'll be played over to right field by Singleton, even though he's a right-hand batter. Palmer's first pitch is spun high for ball 1. Lansford 0 for 2 tonight, plus a walk. Palmer right back, 1-0. Check swing, bounding ball to Palmer's glove side. He's up with it. Palmer quickly to first for the last out. That's as good an inning as Palmer has had tonight. In the middle of the 7th inning, more than 50,000 beginning to rise with a tie. Orioles 3, Angels 3.
Well, WFBR's Oriole baseball sponsors are taking part in a public service effort on behalf of the Johns Hopkins Children's Center. During this, the first game of the American League Championship Series, the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company will donate $1,000 for each triple play, $500 per grand slam, $100 per home run, and $50 per double play. All of the proceeds will be donated to the Johns Hopkins Children's Center in the name of the Oriole Wives Fund from the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company. And we hope that you're enjoying a Schlitz and listening to Oriole baseball tonight. Doug DeCinces, the leadoff batter for the Orioles, in the bottom of the seventh, still all knotted up at 3 apiece. Bill?
Well, if there was such a thing as the biggest hit of the season, here might be the guy who had it. DeCinces takes a breaking ball, strike one from Ryan. That came the 22nd of June when he had the ninth inning, game-winning two-run homer off the Tigers' Dave Tobik. And did this place go mad that night? Strike one to DeCinces. High breaking stuff now. Ryan a little bit annoyed the way he threw that pitch and where he threw it. 1 ball, 1 strike. DeCinces opened the door in the third inning when his pop fly was dropped by Gritch, and then he later scored. Drove in a run with a sacrifice fly on the fourth. 1-1 from Ryan. Fastball he takes a swing at and just foul tips it a bit to the mid of Downing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. DeCinces, Dower, and Dempsey against Nolan Ryan in the bottom of the 7th inning. This game has been knotted 3-3 since the Angels tied the game in the 6th inning. Ryan's given up 3 hits plus 3 runs. Goes again to Doug. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Check swing, slow ground ball towards third base. Lansford picks it up, throws just in time. Just in time. Jim Fry is going to take on Ford, the first base umpire. Also, first base coach Jim Fry is going to take on Ford, and manager Earl Weaver is going to take on Ford. I believe their complaint is that Rod Carew came off the bag. I believe that'll be their complaint. When we see it on the replay, if we do see it, then we'll know if our feeling was correct. It was a close play at first base. I believe the throw had DeCinces beat, but Carew may have come off the bag. The replay indicates he came off the bag. The throw was in time, but the replay shows that his foot came off the bag. But DeCinces is out on a check swing, slow roller to first base. 1 gone, and here's Dower, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Way outside, it's ball 1 to DeCinces, to Dower, who flied to left in the 3rd, bounced to short in the 4th. Ryan to the right-hand batter. Dower on the 1-0. Sends a line drive, hit to left field, just by the reach of the shortstop, Anderson. Anderson began to cut to the hole of the infield, reached out the glove hand and couldn't get to the line drive. So Dower sends a base hit to left. Dempsey coming up. Both times up tonight, Dempsey has drilled the ball deep. He pushed right fielder Ford to the warning path for a fly ball in the 5th and doubled off the fence in left in the 3rd to knock in a run. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. This is game 1 of the American League Playoff Series, and it's a 3-3 tie. 4 hits, 3 runs off Ryan in 6 1/3 innings. Dower's got an average lead at best at first base and goes moving back to the bag on a throw there by Ryan. There is no activity in the Angel bullpen. They've had action there twice before tonight with right-hander clear up both times. Now the pitch coming. Strike with a breaking ball knee-high to Dempsey. Well, Dempsey was kind of sitting back and waiting for the fastball, and he got Ryan's breaking pitch instead. Ryan, in regular season play, has lost 6 straight games to the Orioles. Dempsey down a strike with 1 out. Tries to bunt. He got jammed, and as he got jammed, he couldn't yank the bat away in time, and it's a foul ball back on the screen. Dempsey was beginning to turn, and Ryan threw him a tight fastball, letter high. So a big edge for Ryan. Strike 2 to Dempsey. Ryan back to the rubber, looks towards center field, and now reads the catcher Downing. Dower off first base with 1 out. Strike 2 pitch. Just outside. Downing was sitting way outside. A 1-2 count to Dempsey, who wound up the year batting .239, driving in 41 runs. He had 23 doubles, and he had 6 home runs, including a grand slam. The 1-2 from Ryan, but instead a throw to first base, and Dower has to belly back to the bag. Carew playing a little cat-mouse game with Dower. As Dower went diving back to the bag on his chest, Carew kept the mitt right on Dower's body in case Dower came off the bag. The Dower lead again. The set by Ryan, turns, throws to first. This time Dower comes back standing. Well, Ryan just won't give Dower any inch that he wants. Dower with a 2-step lead. Stays. The pitch is high. 2-2 to Dempsey. Nolan Ryan, even if he had to leave baseball, say tomorrow, has got a pretty good business going for himself. Raises cattle in the state of Texas. They say he has a pretty good business doing that. The 2-2 Ryan to Dempsey. Low breaking ball. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Earl Weaver in the dugout has to make a decision. Will he run Rich Dower from first to second with 1 out on a 3-2 pitch to Dempsey? Dower only has average speed. Ryan leaning way over to gain a sign. Straightens and sets. What does Dower do? He runs. The pitch is hit high to center field. On comes Miller. Makes the catch. Chance for a double play. Throw back to first. It is there for a double play. Miller caught the fly ball a bit to right center field, and when he was catching it, Dower was near second base. Miller caught the ball. Dower turned around, retreated back to first base, but not in time, and gets doubled off. Miller to the first baseman, Carew. So at the end of 7, Orioles 3, Angels 3.
Will Mr. Verlaine please report to the Orioles office at once?
Jim Palmer and Nolan Ryan, the Baltimore Orioles and the California Angels, in a tie. 3-3 as we go to the 8th inning, and Palmer's got to face the fat part, the heavy part, the power part of the Angel order. Dan Ford, 2 RBIs tonight with a home run and a run-scoring double. 21 home runs for the year. Followed by Don Baylor with 36 home runs for the year, and then Rod Carew, who's 2 for 3 tonight after a .318 season with the bat against the league. Here is Ford, and here's the top of the 8th inning. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Dan Ford. Homered on a 2-2 pitch with nobody on in the opening inning. Doubled over Miller in the Angel third. grounded out in the 5th. And starting off the Angel 8th, Palmer's given up 6 base hits. Bobby Grich in the Angels' 6th inning. Here's Don Baylor, who's been unsuccessful tonight against Jim Palmer, 0 for 3. Baylor has flied to center, bounced to 3rd, and popped to 2nd. Palmer winds and works. Strike hand high to Don Baylor. The only time that Baylor was in a batting slump this year was in June. That's when he had a bad hand. At one stretch, he was 0 for 27. The rest of the year, or at least most of the year, he was hot. Strike one to Baylor. A breaking ball bounced to deep 3rd, near the foul line. DeCinces is up with it. The long, strong throw is in time. Baylor hit a foul line hugger down the line at 3rd base, and DeCinces, deep behind the bag, came up with it. Baylor is out. Ford was out before him. Now here's Carew. Carew, after grounding out in the 2nd inning, doubled to left in the 4th, singled to right, and scored the tie run in the 6th inning. So it's hard to figure out, not just from game to game, but from one batting appearance to another, where Rod Carew will hit ground balls or hit line drives or get base hits. This fellow is the best pure hitter in the American League for sure. He might just be the best pure hitter in the major leagues. Carew is also a pretty good bunter. He is played towards the grass at 3rd base by DeCinces and way over to the foul line. Palmer winds and comes at Carew, fouls it back, strike one. Palmer's given up 6 hits. Carew has 2 of them. Ford has 2. Miller has 1. Grich has the other one. A strike one pitch to Carew, 2 out, nobody on. Slow breaking ball in the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike. 4 of the 6 hits Palmer has given up for extra bases. He's given up a home run and 3 doubles. The 1-1 to Carew. Left-hand batter takes a bit outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. The right-hand bat of Brian Downing is on deck. That's the Angel catcher. 2 gone, top of the 8th. The Orioles are involved in a 3-3 tie. The veteran right-hander to the good bat of Carew, 2 balls, 1 strike. Carew lines another base hit. This one drops into right field. So Carew, who only had 4 hits in 21 at-bats against the Orioles this year, Carew is 3 for 4 tonight. Here is Downing, who is 0 for 3 tonight. Stanhouse warming in the Oriole bullpen. Montague warming in the Angel bullpen. Both, of course, are right-handers. Downing grounded out in the 2nd, bounced out in the 4th, popped up in the 6th. Gave the Angels just a great deal more than they ever expected from Downing this year, driving in 75 runs with a batting mark at .326. Now, he's got that wide open stance. He's got the good look out to Palmer. The runner goes. The pitch is on the inside corner. The throw is to 2nd. Carew is out. Dempsey to Dower, and it was no contest. Carew is out, stealing, and that's the final out. Now, Downing will be the first batter in the top of the 9th. Bumbry will be the first batter in the bottom of the 8th. At the end of 7 1/2, Orioles 3, Angels 3.
Memorial Stadium. Listen. And that's Big Wheel down on top of the Oriole dugout. We have a new pitcher in the game. Montague has come in to pitch for Nolan Ryan. Ryan goes 7 innings, giving up 3 runs, 7 hits. He struck out 8 and he walked 3. So Nolan Ryan is now out of the game and Montague is in. Now Montague's totals, his ERA 5.51. He's 8-4 on the year. This is his 56th appearance this year. Has 7 saves coming out of the California bullpen. 134 innings pitched. He's given up 141 hits, 17 home runs. He struck out 66 and walked 56. And he has not faced the Orioles this year. Bill?
John Montague throwing low, ball 1. Montague to Al Bumbry in the bottom of the 8th inning. Montague spent most of the year with Seattle and joined the Angels in late August. He's winding and working. He has got strike 1 called to Bumbry. Bumbry was hitless against Nolan Ryan, striking out twice and grounding out another time. Big right-hander works to Bumbry with a changeup inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Montague, a native of the state of Virginia, grew up in Newport News, Virginia. He pitched 2 other times this year against the Orioles, worked against them in late April and in mid-May. Matter of fact, he worked against them 4 times in relief. He has worked now 5 times against the Orioles this year, 4 times in the Seattle uniform, and now the first time in the Angel uniform. The 2-1 to Bumbry sends a fly ball to the gap in left center field, and the left fielder gets over there. Harlow runs it down. Harlow was late breaking to left center field. Harlow was late seeing the ball come off Bumbry's bat, but the wind held it up, and Harlow runs it down. 1 away, and now Belanger will face Montague, a young fellow who grew up in the Oriole organization, acquired by the Angels the 30th of August from Seattle for an undisclosed amount of cash. Montague, really a big surprise to help out the Angel bullpen. Now with 1 out, he faces Belanger. A slider finds the outside corner, strike 1. Montague, in his first 8 Angel appearances, saved 5 games and he won 2. Strike 1 pitch to Belanger with 1 out. He is low for a ball. The Angels also won the first 6 games in which Montague appeared out of the bullpen. Winding and dealing 1-1. He is low and away through that hard slider. 2 balls, 1 strike. As soon as we find out about Montague and Belanger, we'll be glad to give you a station break. Ball 2, strike 1 pitch to Belanger. A check swing foul to the left of the plate. 3 of the 4 times that Montague faced the Orioles this year with the Seattle ball club, he was hammered pretty hard. Left-hander LaRoche, right-hander Ossie working the bullpen. 2-2 to Belanger. A ground ball slowly to the right side. Second baseman Gritch comes up with it, and he throws out Belanger, and we have 2 gone. And we'll also pause for station identification on the Orioles Baseball Network. Ken Singleton hitless against Nolan Ryan. And Singleton, like Bumbry and Belanger ahead of him, facing Montague for the first time tonight. Montague's got some size. He is a 205-pounder, 6 feet 2 inches tall. He is 32 years of age. Works to Singleton with 2 out. Line drive to short, caught head high by the shortstop Anderson. Caught that quickly for the final out. The 8th inning is complete. Baltimore 3, California 3.
Attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, as an added service for fans who drive to Memorial Stadium, U.S. Auto Centers will provide the S-Line Trouble Truck to help you get on your way home promptly after the game. If you need assistance in starting your car or fixing a flat tire, contact the driver of the instrument truck, which is located in the west side parking lot near 33rd Street after every night game. The Orioles are grateful to the Israel Auto Centers for providing this service. Thank you. Attention, please. Will George Stevens please report to the police command post, lower section 41.
And which might lead to a mutually acceptable solution.
Well, Rod Carew, a pretty good base stealer, caught stealing after getting a hit in the 8th inning off Jim Palmer. And here is Rick Dempsey on throwing out the runner. Dempsey will say that it all revolves around his pitcher. In this particular case, the pitcher is Jim Palmer. And Dempsey told us before the game that Palmer works as well as anyone he has ever caught in getting the ball away in a hurry. He did it that time, and Rick Dempsey was able to nail Rod Carew. Remember, Game 2 of this playoff series tomorrow afternoon at 3:15, and we'll be on the air with our pregame show at 3 o'clock tomorrow, and Mike Flanagan is going to be our guest. As we get underway in the top of the 9th of this 3-3 game, here again is Bill.
All right, Tom, our one starting pitcher has already been pulled, and that was Nolan Ryan. The other starting pitcher, the smooth operating Jim Palmer, is still on the scene, and he'll go to Brian Downing in the top of the 9th. Strike one call to the right-hand batter. Downing was at the plate when Carew had the base hit in the 8th inning and then got thrown out stealing, so Downing is up to begin the 9th. Big, wide-open stance to the third baseline. Strike one pitch. Sends a high foul ball towards first base, and a box seat patron has a souvenir just behind the Angel dugout. No balls, 2 strikes. Pitching in clutch games, being a part of money games, of course. Nothing new to Jim Palmer. 13 years ago, he appeared in his first big money game and shut out the Dodgers as a 20-year-old right-hander and beat Sandy Koufax that day in Game 2 of the '66 series at Dodger Stadium. 0-2 pitch. Low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That day at Dodger Stadium when he beat the Dodgers and Koufax 6-0. He relied primarily on hard stuff. Tonight, he has relied primarily on breaking pitches. 1-2 to Downing. A ground ball chopped slowly to short. Belanger pulls it down, chest high. His throw is there, and Downing has gone by a step or two. Belanger to Murray, short to first. So as Downing now is 0 for 4. Here's Bobby Grich, who is 1 for 2 tonight. A run-scoring double. He's also walked and popped up. I guess there are 2 American League players in particular who had outstanding comeback years. A fine veteran left-hander of the Minnesota Twins in his first American League season, Jerry Koosman, and Bobby Grich also. 1 out, nobody on. Palmer to Grich. Fouled back of the plate on a late swing by Bobby. Popped up in the 2nd, and Palmer walked him in the 4th. Grich doubled in the tie run in the 6th inning. And we've not had a run scored since the 6th inning. Grich at the plate with 1 out in the 9th inning. Palmer's given up 7 hits. He's about to make a strike one pitch. Started to rock, stopped his motion, and when he stopped his motion, Grich got out of the batter's box. Grich, 30 home runs. What a year he's had. 101 RBIs. Here's the 0-1 by Palmer. A breaking ball, softly thrown, just a bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike. When you combine what Grich and Baylor did, combining what the 2 former Orioles did, man, what seasons they had. Combined, they had 66 home runs. The 1-1 to Grich. Swings, and it's a foul ball back of the plate on the ground. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Grich-Baylor combination, 66 home runs, 240 runs batted in. Larry Harlow is on deck. Palmer nodding to Dempsey. In he comes to Grich, just outside. If we heard correctly, the reason that Nolan Ryan came out of the ball game was because of cramps in his legs. Earlier this year, he came out of a ball game against the Orioles with a groin pull. 2-2, just outside, and the count runs full between Palmer and Grich. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Billy suffered cramps in his right calf, and the Angels team physician says it doesn't appear to be much of a problem at this time.
3 balls, 2 strikes. They worked this way in the 4th inning, and Grich got a pass. Here in the 9th inning, the 3-2. Check swing, foul, right in the batter's box and glancing off the leg of Bobby Grich. Before the start of the 78 season, Bobby Grich was moving into a Long Beach apartment, was lifting some furniture, and came out of that lifting process with a bad back and really had a bad 78, but he's had a good 79. 3-2 to Grich again. Here's a fly ball well hit to deep right field. Singleton is on the warning path, makes the grab in deep right. The wind carried that ball a good distance to right field. 2 up, 2 out. Here's Larry Harlow. Now tonight, Harlow's been easy pickings for Palmer. Bounced out in the 3rd, struck out in the 4th, fanned again in the 6th, facing Palmer with 2 out in the top of the 9th. Little look around the corner to the bottom of the 9th inning. Murray, Kelly, and May are due up. Fastball, foul back. Palmer has thrown basically letter-high fastballs over the plate to Larry Harlow and been effective with that kind of pitching. Ahead of strike. Jim Anderson, the 9th batter, is on deck. 2 away, top of the 9th inning. Downing bounced out. Grich fly to deep right. Strike 1 pitch coming. Harlow fouls it off the mask of the plate umpire, Larry Barnett. Barnett, one of 6 American League umpires being worked tonight. Barnett at the plate, Ford at first, Evans at second, Denkinger at 3rd, and the foul lines tonight are being manned by Al Clark in left and Greg Kosk in right. 2 out, nobody on. Palmer began to wind. Harlow stepped out of the box. Not too many players this year performed with 2 winners, but Harlow did. Strike 2 pitch on the way, high. Spent half the year with the Orioles and the last half with the Angels. Bases are empty. DeCinces at 3rd base, kind of back halfway near the foul line. Palmer kicks and comes home. He's high. 2-2 to Harlow. Played just about at average depth by all the outfielders, but played more to left by Kelly. So they give the Harlow the gaps in both left center and right center. We've had a stiff breeze blowing here all night long, and the direction all evening has been the same, to the right field corner. Orioles 3, Angels 3, 2 out, top of the 9th. The 2-2 pitch to Harlow. He sends a 1-hopper to short, a knee-high hop for Belanger, and he throws out Harlow. 3 up, 3 down, top of the 9th. Eddie Murray is going to start the bottom of the 9th. Baltimore 3, California 3.
in section 34 again. They're going to get this entire park going in another Orioles cheer, and we'll let you take a listen to it if they do. This game has come down to the bottom of the 9th inning for the Orioles. It's a 3-3 tie. And the leadoff batter for the Birds, Eddie Murray. And the chants begin, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. Murray, a strikeout victim twice tonight, and he has walked. And we'll go back to Bill.
All right, Tom, the Orioles send up in the bottom of the 9th inning the young man who did the best job of any Oriole hitter against Angel pitching this year. Tonight, however, Eddie Murray is 0 for 2 plus a walk, but facing John Montague for the first time tonight. Murray struck out in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 3rd, walked in the 6th inning. Those appearances against Nolan Ryan. The left-hand bat of Eddie Murray against Montague in the bottom of the 9th. In the dirt, ball 1, and bounced right by the catcher Downing. A 3-3 ball game, game 1 of the playoff series. Murray, Kelly, and May in the 9th inning. The Orioles have not scored since the 4th. Neither team has scored since the 6th. The 1-0 pitch. Low again, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, the edges to Eddie Murray, at least after 2 pitches. Montague winds and delivers. Strike. He paints the outside corner. 2 balls, 1 strike. Eddie Murray left the batter's box to think things over and also to slow down the pace of Montague. Now Eddie's for the 2-1 pitch and ready. Swings and can't get to it. The count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Montague is going to wind and come forward. Here he is to Eddie Murray. Low, and the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Murray was ahead 2-0. Montague came back and went to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now they're nose to nose going to the finish line. Kelly is standing on deck. Montague has a sign. Works 3 balls, 2 strikes. He is ball 4. The winning run in the 9th inning with nobody out. Trots to first base with Eddie Murray, and the batter is Pat Kelly. Montague's first inning of relief was the 8th, and he was very strong, getting Bunbury, Belanger, and Singleton with no trouble. But he kind of weakens to begin the bottom of the 9th, passing Eddie Murray to bring up Pat Kelly. Kelly went 1 for 2 against Nolan Ryan with a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored. It was Kelly who scored the 4th inning run to give the Orioles a 3-2 lead. Then the Angels tied the game in the 6th inning. Now we're in the bottom of the 9th, tied 3-3. Lee May is on deck. Murray with a 2-step lead at first. The set by Montague. The pitch to Kelly. Out of the mid of Downing, and Murray had a notion to go to second base and then twisted around and came back to first base. The ball popped out of the mid of Downing and went to the right of the plate. Downing, like a cat, got rid of the mass, went after the loose ball, and Murray decided to duck back to the bag after the ball 1 deal to Kelly. Now Kelly's back in the batter's box, right on top of the plate. Montague sticking right around the rubber, giving a glance to Murray's average lead. Here's the 1-0 to Kelly. It's strike 1 called on the outside corner at Kelly's knees. Lansford at third base, right over to the foul line and right back of the grass. Shortstop Anderson is halfway. Bobby Grich at second base, about 2 steps deeper than halfway. Carew is holding on the Murray lead. Ford is in deep right. Miller shaded to right center. Harlow back straightaway left. Kelly to the 1-1 pitch. Had a notion to bunt. The pitch was low, and he changed his mind. Left-hander Dave LaRoche, right-hander Don Ossie are both warming now in the Angel bullpen. Angels led 1-0 in the first inning on a Ford home run. 2-0 in the third. Orioles tied the game in the third. Went ahead in the fourth. Angels tied the game in the sixth. Here's a throw to first base and pulls Carew off the bag. He had to go one step off the bag as Murray came back. Now Carew walks the ball halfway back to Montague. Montague meets him halfway between the mound and the bag. And as Montague returns to the top of the hill, he kind of palms up, twists on the rosin bag, and slams it down. He has a 2-ball, 1-strike pitch to make to Kelly, and here it is. It is strike 2 called. That was on the inside corner. Kelly was again turning as if to offer, as if to lay it down. Pulled the bat away. Thought the pitch was too close out of the strike zone. Barnett came up with the right arm. It's ball 2, strike 2. Kelly gives a brief eye to third base coach Cal Ripken. Montague with a glove hand down by the knee, rotating the ball behind the hip, sets and looks to first. The 2-2 pitch, bounced slowly and foul between the plate and the Angel dugout. Well, we have the first game of the playoffs tonight. Very typical of the kind of games the Orioles have played at home this year, more so than on the road. They've had a lot of nail-biters here in their own ballpark. They've got a nail-biter and a tie in the ninth. Nobody out, one man on. 2-2 to Kelly. Swings and strikes out. Looks like he chased a pitch low outside. It looked like it might have been out of the strike zone. Now the batter will be Lee May. The pitch definitely was down and might have been outside. Montague hangs up his first strikeout in relief. Murray still at first base with 1 out. Lee May was not effective at all against Nolan Ryan. Struck out twice, bounced into a double play in the 6th inning. But he's not facing Ryan in the 9th. He's facing John Montague. Montague turns and throws over to Murray's lead, and Murray darts back to the bag. Montague picking up a sign and now sets, delivers to Lee May. Strike. He chips the outside corner between the knees and the belt line. DeCinces is on deck. Doug, by the way, has figured in 2 of the Orioles' 3 runs tonight. We've got a 3-3 game in the bottom of the 9th with 1 on and with 1 out. Strike 1 pitch coming. High. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lee May had a notion to tomahawk that pitch, but checked his swing in time. 52,000 plus sitting in tonight and watching a magnificent ball game. For a long while, it was a battle between Nolan Ryan and Jim Palmer. Ryan is no longer in the ball game. Montague came on last inning. He sets and looks to Murray. Turns and throws. They've got Murray picked off. Carew runs him towards second to the shortstop Anderson. Runs him back to Montague, and Montague, the pitcher, tags him out. So Murray was flat-footed and got picked off. Montague to Carew to the shortstop Anderson and back to the pitcher. So it is a 1-3-6-1 pickoff on Eddie Murray. The bases are empty with 2 out. The count is 1 ball, 1 strike to Lee May. Nobody on, 2 men out, a 3-3 tie in the 9th. Montague now will go from a full windup, kicks and delivers, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes to May. If May gets on, DeCinces will have a turn. Orioles in postseason play down through the years have always had great success. Matter of fact, they've won 24 times in playoff and World Series games. 1-2 to May, low outside, a 2-2 count. In playoff games, the Orioles have won 12 of 18. In World Series games, they've won 12 of 21. Montague to May with 2 out, nobody on in the 9th. The tall right-hander now rechecks with his catcher, and while he rechecks on the signs, May bounces out of the box. Here's the 2-2 offering to May. Here's a high fly ball, fairly deep to right center field. Miller is called off by the right fielder, and the right fielder grabs it, and we're going to go extra innings in our first playoff game. At the end of 9, Orioles 3, Angels 3. the California starter worked 7 innings and came out of the ball game, giving up some 4 hits and 3 runs. Jim Palmer, his opposing starting pitcher, comes out after 9 innings of pitching and gives the game over to Don Stanhouse. Stanhouse in the Angel 10th inning will face Jim Anderson, but it looks like Anderson will be called back for Willie Davis instead. Now, the record on Palmer in this first playoff game, he had a good outing, gave up 3 runs, 7 base hits, walked only 2 batters, and he struck out 3. Palmer was really stronger in the final 3 innings than he was in the early innings. He had a big problem in the 3rd, a little bit of a problem in the 1st, pulled out of a real bad jam, 2 on, 1 out in the 4th inning, and pulled out of a jam also in the 6th inning. But in the 7th, Palmer faced only 3 batters. Faced 4 batters in the 8th inning, but got help when they got Carew for the final out, stealing, and then faced 3 batters in the top of the 9th inning. So Don Stanhouse, the bellwether of the Oriole bullpen, Don Stanhouse comes on the scene in the 10th inning. We might add that the last 2 times out in relief against the Angels, and that was in this park the 3rd week of July, in those 2 relief appearances, Stanhouse was effective. He appeared in 1 game that Martinez lost, Dennis that is, but did not give up a hit in 1 inning. He also came on for Sammy Stewart's victory and got the last 2 outs. In fact, he struck out Don Baylor with the bases loaded. So it's Stanhouse's game out of 1 bullpen. It is Montague's game out of the other bullpen. And Willie Davis will bat in the top of the 10th. Here's Tom Marr.
Thank you, Bill O'Donnell, and good evening once again, everybody. Willie Davis, a pinch hitter for Jim Anderson to get things underway here in the top of the 10th inning in this 3-3 game. Stanhouse pitched to the left-hander, and it's a bit upstairs for a ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes, the count to the batter, Willie Davis. Stanhouse next delivery, swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. And if we get a chance, we'll let you hear Don Stanhouse talking about taking so much time in between pitches. Willie Davis has faced the Orioles twice this year. Hasn't got a hit. One and one the count. Stanhouse's next pitch, and that one's foul back on the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. I believe it was Willie Davis that was up in the 9th inning in California on that Sunday, July 8th. And he hit a shallow fly ball out to Lowenstein and left for 1 out. Then Lowenstein nailed the runner trying to come in from 3rd to preserve an Oriole victory for Scott McGregor after the Orioles had lost 5 in a row, 3 in Texas and 2 in California. Here's the 1-2 delivery to Davis. That's high and outside.
It was also, Tom, Willie Davis, that Oriole fans thankfully remember for the 1966 World Series, when in 1 ball game he dropped 2 fly balls and also committed a throwing error. 3 errors in 1 game.
The on-deck batter is Rick Miller, all tied up at 3 apiece. Stanhouse again taking a lot of time. He's got the sign from Dempsey. He'll work the 2-2 delivery. There's a ground ball out to Belanger at short. Marks up with it. Throw to first in time. Just gets there to get the speedy Willie Davis. Davis was flying down that line at first base. And Belanger made the throw to first to get him by about a half a step. So there's 1 out in the top of the 10th for the California Angels, and here's Rick Miller. He got an infield hit and scored the 2nd run of this game in the 3rd inning. Struck out his first time up. No, that's Lanford, excuse me. He grounded out his first time up, then got the infield hit. Here's the pitch to the left-hander from Stanhouse. He's low with a fastball. 1 ball and no strikes the count. In the 5th, flew out to left field and did so again in the 7th. Rick Miller against Don Stan, the man unusual, Stanhouse. He gets the sign from Dempsey. 1 ball delivery is on the way. And it's foul back into the seats behind home plate. They won't say get that fan a contract. They might say get that fan a compress. A scorcher into the seats, and so far we can see that somebody took a beating from that one. Someone was hit by it, and now attendants are going to that fan, and they're calling for some help. One thing that we won't forget is Don Stanhouse in the Orioles' victory celebration of the title in the American League East, getting his gorilla, his big stuffed gorilla, down from on top of his locker. And he had that gorilla both drinking champagne and beer. And before the night was over, a number of the celebrants said they actually heard that stuffed gorilla talking. Well, now we've got a couple of police officers coming out. Apparently they're going to get some help for that spectator who was hit by that scorching line drive. And that's what's holding the game up at this time. Now the home plate umpire, Larry Barnett, steps back in behind the plate, behind Dempsey. 1-1 the count to the batter, Rick Miller. The two starting pitchers, Nolan Ryan and Jim Palmer, now departed. 1 out, 1-1 pitch on the way. There's a ground ball behind the bag at second. Belanger's got it. Throw to first in time. And Miller is retired as Belanger handles a couple of chances here in the top of the 10th. And that's going to bring up Carney Lansford. Struck out his first time up against Palmer. Then walked, flew out to left, and grounded out to first. Grounded out, rather, to the pitcher. Pitcher to first base. Stanhouse says okay to Rick Dempsey. And we're going to get the first pitch to Lansford. And it just hits the outside corner for a strike one. One strike the count to the batter. Dan Ford is on deck. Here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss. 2 strikes the count to the batter in the hole against Don Stanhouse. Nolan Ryan had to leave the game with cramps in his calf in the right leg, and Jim Palmer, the ace of class, was taken out after going 9 innings. Stanhouse ready to work again. That 2-strike pitch comes down the hill, and it's bounced foul over near the on-deck circle. Stanhouse, and why it takes so long?
Well, it's part of my repertoire. Like I say, it's different for a starting pitcher. It's going to go through the lineup 2 or 3 times. Every pitch I throw is important. It could cost me a base hit. It could cost us a game and a run. So, like I say, every time I throw the ball, there's a purpose for it. And, you know, and myself taking a lot of time in between pitches, it is part of the way I pitch. Nothing I can do about it. Got to get concentration to throw another ball.
Well, Stanhouse had to joke about it. Sounded serious most of the time. Getting concentration up to throw another ball. 2 strikes now the count. Next pitch is batted foul. This one's over near the Oriole on-deck circle. The Angels 1 run in the first inning on the Ford home run. Another in the third and 1 in the 6th. For the Orioles, they picked up 2 in the third and 1 in the 4th. Game time tomorrow, 3:15. We'll be on the air with our pregame show at 3 o'clock. And they're taking that fan who was hit by that scorching foul ball into the seats out in a stretcher. 2 strikes the count, 2 out, nobody on. Stanhouse is ready to work. The pitch, it's high. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Stanhouse hopes to be in an Oriole uniform next year. He can go the free agent route if he wishes, but would like to stay with this group of players. The Oriole management would like to keep him. But if they break the bank for Stanhouse, they're going to have to come up with some loot for some of the other players who deserve it. 1-2 delivery. High fly ball out to center field. Right center field. Bumbry's under it. Makes the catch. And that's all for the Angels in the top of the 10th. So at the end of 9.5 innings of play, the score remains Baltimore 3, California 3.
playing shortstop, number 19, Bert Campaneris.
Well, John Montague, who picked up for Nolan Ryan when the Orioles batted in the bottom of the 8th inning. Montague still on the scene. He has not given up a base hit, nor, of course, a run in his 2 innings of relief. He has a strikeout. He also has given up a walk. But the man he walked got picked off first base for out number 2 in the bottom of the 9th inning. In the bottom of the 10th inning now, against Virginia-born John Montague, it'll be Doug DeCinces, Rich Dower, Rick Dempsey, and Tom Marr.
Thank you, Bill O'Donnell. And Doug DeCinces has figured in a couple of the Oriole runs tonight. He reached on an error in the 3rd inning and later scored on a Rick Dempsey double, and a sacrifice fly to right field scored Pat Kelly from 3rd in the 4th inning. He is also grounded out. And now in the 10th, he faces Montague. 3-3. DeCinces, the leadoff batter, the first pitch to Doug, ground ball out into left field for the base hit. So DeCinces is the winning run at first base. And there's activity out in the California bullpen. Here comes Rich Dower. Dower singled in the 7th inning, but then got caught after Dempsey flew out to center field, and Dower, trying to get back from second, was caught. LaRoche and Don Ossie up and warming in the California bullpen. 14 game-winning RBIs for Dower. The look to DeCinces. He squared the bunt, but the pitch was outside. 1 ball and no strikes the count. And Lansford at third, and Carew at first were charging down the line. Bert Campaneris is now the Angel shortstop. Again, Dower squares the bunt up the first base line. It's a good one, and Carew will tag out Dower, and DeCinces goes into second. Rod Carew came down the line to pick up that bunt right up the first base line, and Dower ran about 10 steps and just came to a stop, and Rod tagged him out. DeCinces, the winning run, is now at second base. And here comes Terry Crowley. Crowley will pinch hit for Rick Dempsey. The announcement is now being made. Since returning from Rochester in August of 1977, he's batted .333, 31 for 93 as a pinch hitter. He now has a .301 lifetime average in that capacity. As an Oriole, 55 for 183, and lifetime with Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Texas, .271. As a pinch hitter this year, he's a .275 hitter with 1 home run and 5 RBIs. Terry Crowley at bat. The Crow is ready. Left-handed batter DeCinces is the runner at second base. The pitch from Montague, it's outside. As a designated hitter, September 9th in Boston enjoyed his finest day of the year. He went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 walks. DeCinces off the bag at second. 1 ball, the count to Crowley. Here's the pitch to Terry. There's a high fly ball out to right center field. Center fielder Miller puts the glove up, makes the play, and DeCinces holds at second base. So there are now 2 down. And Al Bunbury comes to the plate. Nolan Ryan had Al Bunbury's number tonight. He struck out his first 2 times up, then grounded out. And against the big guy Montague in the 8th inning, he flied out to left field. We're in the bottom of the 10th inning. It's a 3-3 game, and Doug DeCinces is the runner at second base. DeCinces singled to lead off the inning and went to second on a sacrifice by Dower. Now they're going to pitch out. They're going to intentionally walk Al Bunbury. to get to Mark Belanger. Ball 2. And we'll see if the Fregosi strategy will pay off. Of course, the winning run is at second base, and they just as soon get around to Al Bumbry to get to Belanger. Now Belanger is being called back, and Earl Weaver has the move. And we'll see who will come out of the Oriole dugout. Could be John Lowenstein. We don't know. That's who it's going to be. Brother Lowe. And he'll get a great hand from this crowd here. John Lowenstein, the $20,000 man, as we like to call him, picked up in the waivers for $20,000. Listen to the announcement.
Number 38, John Lowenstein.
He's a member of the Oriole Grand Slam Club this year. Very impressive credentials. 11 home runs, 34 RBIs, 16 stolen bases.
Tom Lowenstein, one of the funny guys on this Oriole ball club, but one of the dry, humored guys. The fellow who doesn't stand on ceremony. When asked a question like, what do you think about the playoffs? He said quickly, the payoff. That's what I like. The payoff.
Sounds like a guy who lives in Las Vegas, doesn't it, Bill?
Yeah, it might be him.
And it is John.
Well, he's got a chance to make the payoff big right now.
He also played in 5 different positions for the Orioles this year defensively, including a stint at third base against the Tigers. The pitch to Lowenstein, check swing foul ball down the first base line. He hit his second career grand slam in the third inning on July 24th in the second game of a doubleheader off Odell Jones.
Tom, Lowenstein, the last couple of months, kind of snake bit. He had the ligament tear of one ankle against the left field fence. The other day, matter of fact, it was over the weekend at Cleveland, beat a foul ball off the other ankle, and just now, that check swing foul ball came off his foot.
Runners at first and second. The pitch to Lowenstein, and he pops that one foul upstairs down the third baseline. August 9th against Milwaukee, he severely sprained his left ankle, and he was placed on the 15-day disabled list. He may have tried to come back a little too soon off that. A very painful injury, but he's got a very high pain threshold. Runners at first and second. Lowenstein sends a high fly ball down the left field line, and it's off the top of the wall. Home run! It's a home run for John Lowenstein. Just gets in there, and the Orioles win Game 1 of this 5-game series. Lowenstein rounds third base. He's grabbed by Earl Weaver. He's headed home, and the entire Oriole team is there. That ball was hit down, high fly ball down the left field line, and it hit the top of the wall and came back, and the umpire down in left field gave the sign that it was a home run, and the Orioles have performed another miracle on 33rd Street. They defeat California by a score of 6-3 to take the first of the best of 3 of this 5-game series. The game-winning RBI goes to John Lowenstein. That's it. Final score, Baltimore 6, California 3. Bill will be back with a wrap-up in a moment.
curtain call request here at Memorial Stadium right now is for tonight's hero. Tonight's kind of surprise hero, but that really is no surprise. The way the Orioles have played this 1979 championship season, the curtain call request from over 52,000 in the ballpark tonight is for John Lowenstein. Lowenstein, if he's not coming out to the Oriole dugout right now, I'm sure is back in the Oriole clubhouse. And if somebody in the clubhouse would ask Lowenstein to come out, he would make more than 52,000 fans happy, delirious, pleased if he'd only come out. One other time this year, John Lowenstein at Seattle in the 9th inning with 2 men out got a 3-run homer from John Montague. Here is Lowenstein coming out to answer the request for the curtain call. Lowenstein is out. You know, never before in John Lowenstein's long major league career has he ever been with a winner. He was with the Indians in 1970 and stayed with the Indians through 1977. Never had what you could call a banner year. In fact, his home run high year was 1975 when he had 12 home runs, batted only .242, played only in 91.